Welcome to the Fantasy Audiobook. I'm in Konoha, Deduce magnetic escape at the start. Chapter 61. Although today's meeting is no longer in Baisan's plan. But Baisan was prepared for today's situation. Open the drawer, take out a set of scrolls, and place it in front of Orochimaru. Seeing that Baisan agreed to the transaction between the two without any hesitation. A satisfied expression also appeared on Orochimaru's face. Taking out a scroll and a pale green potion, Orochimaru immediately introduced. In addition to the dragon transformation technique, which represents the body modification technology, this scroll contains some information about wood style. And this potion, as long as it is injected into the body, you will be able to master the power of wood style. Hearing Orochimaru's words, Baisan's eyes flashed with joy. Being able to exchange these with the sealing technique and chakra reactor is really a pleasant surprise. No surprise to Baisan, Orochimaru's body modification technology. Baisan accidentally named this technology by Orochimaru. Dragon transformation technique. This made Baisan think of Raichi Cave. Raichi Cave seems to have a legend of turning into a dragon. After Yakushi Kabuto learned the sage mode of Raichi Cave in the future, he also announced that he would turn into a dragon. Therefore, Baisan can infer that Orochimaru's body modification technology must have referenced the snake of Raichi Cave, and it is very likely that the white snake fairy. If it is like this, presumably this dragon transformation technique will be of great reference value. Certainly, the power of wood style can be obtained by injection. This also surprised Baisan very much. It seems that because of his own influence, Orochimaru has achieved a lot in the research of wood style. Baisan knows, the power of wood style is not simple. Maybe wood style will be a key to his own sage body. Baisan was not polite. Take the scroll and potion. Put away the medicine and prepare it for future research. Then he opened the scroll, and Baisan looked directly at it. Seeing Baisan's actions, a glimmer of pride flashed across Orochimaru's eyes. Looking at the scroll in front of him, Orochimaru opened it with a slight pause. In this way, Orochimaru saw the sealing technique chakra reactor. He saw Baisan's research on the nature and properties of chakra. He saw how Baisan researched and applied chakra. He saw Baisan's knowledge of the human body and the chakra circulatory system. He saw the concept and design of the chakra reactor. He saw the sophisticated calculations hidden under this chakra reactor. Orochimaru, trapped in shock. It's incredible. It's incredible. Is this Baisan's wisdom? This is simply beyond the times, beyond the wisdom of the world. It turns out that chakra also has this incredible property. Chakra nuclei, chakra particles, chakra fission reaction. This technique can actually enable a ninja to have a chakra comparable to a tailed beast. It will even greatly strengthen the ninja's body and spirit. More importantly, this is a sealing technique. For sealing, Orochimaru also has a certain understanding. So Orochimaru knows one of the properties of sealing. That is, it can be used by others. Just like his body modification technology. Not only was he able to use this technology to transform his own body, more able to use this technology to transform the body of others. The same goes for Baisan's chakra reactor. If you can master this sealing technique, then make some simple adjustments. He was then able to transform someone else's chakra cycle system into a chakra reactor system. Combining the Huolong technique with the chakra reactor, you will be able to continuously create powerful weapons. A weapon with non-human physique, powerful vitality, and chakra at the tailed beast level. Taking a look at the chakra reactor, Orochimaru put the scroll away. If you want to learn the chakra reactor, you can learn it anytime. Anyway, the scroll is on him. But want to communicate with Baisan. But not always able to communicate. With a little more admiration in his tone, Orochimaru said, Mr. Baisan, your wisdom is beyond my imagination. The sealing technique of the chakra reactor has simply subverted the world's perception of ninjas. You must be able to see it, Mr. Baisan. As long as you are willing, the two of us can easily change the pattern of the ninja world, and even change the world. When Orochimaru's voice enters the ear, Baisan, who had just written down the contents of the scroll, also set his sights on Orochimaru's face. With a slight smile, Baisan immediately replied, Orochimaru-senpai, your wisdom also amazes me. It's just that I don't agree with the second half of your sentence, Orochimaru-senpai. I don't have to, as long as you are willing, Orochimaru-senpai. You don't need to join forces with me, you can use your own wisdom and talent to easily change the pattern of the ninja world, and even change the world. Baisan's words surprised Orochimaru for a moment, and then the smile on his face became brighter. And Baisan, who said this, also changed his voice and continued. Certainly, I am very willing to cooperate with you, Orochimaru-senpai. And I have a plan. If you want to know about Orochimaru-senpai, I can also tell you about it. Collaboration plan. How could Orochimaru be reluctant to cooperate with Baisan? Why would you not want to hear about Baisan's plans? Please say, I am very honored to work with you, Mr. Baisan, and listen to your grand plan. Accompanied by Baisan's words, Orochimaru's ears were heard. A storm surged in the silent Orochimaru's heart. He had never heard of such a madness, such a greatness, such an elaborate plan. Baisan's understanding of money, power, wisdom, human beings, society, and human nature is beyond his common sense. The original Orochimaru thought that his mind was still enough beyond the common sense of the world. He really didn't expect that Baisan's thoughts were so cold and just. That's right, just justice, for collectives and civilizations. What about personal interests and life and death? As long as human civilization can develop and progress by leaps and bounds, all sacrifices are worth it. Not to mention, it's not yourself that you sacrifice. Instead, he will realize his dream in this great plan. Gain great power and a long lifespan. Even get the ability to travel the universe, and the opportunity to become a god. What reason does this give Orochimaru to refuse? Mr. Baisan, I can't wait to see the moment when the plan is completed. It is an honor for me, Orochimaru, to be part of such a great project. If there is anything that needs me to do, just say it, and I will do my best. Orochimaru's voice was a little trembling, revealing strong shock, excitement, and seriousness. Seeing Orochimaru react like this, Baisan knew that Orochimaru had been subdued by himself. Then he smiled slightly and replied in a calm voice. It is also my honor that Senior Orochimaru is willing to join my project. As for what you need Orochimaru-senpai to do, I was about to tell you. Hearing Baisan's words, Orochimaru's expression turned straight. Be quiet and listen. After nodding lightly, Baisan opened his mouth and said. The third ninja war will break out in 3 months. The 5 villages will be involved without exception. And that's the opportunity for the lifeblood of our master's world economy. Saying this, Baisan gave a slight pause. And Orochimaru also understood what Baisan meant. Baisan said before about his perception of the economy. Baisan said that economy is the general term for people to produce, circulate, distribute, and consume all material and spiritual materials. This concept micro refers to the property management of a family, and macro refers to the national economy of a country. In this dynamic whole, production is the base and consumption is the end. As long as you control the world economy, you can control the world's resources, energy, logistics, information, and so on. According to Orochimaru's understanding of Baisan's words, as long as the master has the economy, just raising the price of food can make countless people starve to death. More importantly, on the verge of starvation, humans want to survive, to get food. They will be willing to give everything. House, land, wife, children, debts. Just use some very simple little tricks. Turn humans into slaves. Certainly, this is just the simplest application of economics. The economy can not only turn humans into slaves, but also can turn humans into ninjas, scientists, and thugs. After a slight pause, Baisan continued. And the lifeline of the master's world economy can wipe out all those rotten nobles. And then vigorously develop technology to improve the productivity of human civilization, so that more people can become ninjas. Listen, Orochimaru also nodded slightly, and then said in a meaningful tone. I understand what comes next. Leave this to me. Seeing Orochimaru's excited appearance, Baisan also nodded slightly and said. With Orochimaru-senpai's help, I am naturally very relieved. But I also wrote a plan. Hopefully it will help Orochimaru-senpai. With that said, Baisan took out another set of scrolls from the drawer. Orochimaru, who took the scroll, did not hesitate to open it. Orochimaru was also mesmerized when he saw Baisan's meticulously written plan. These are precious knowledge that can make one master the world economy. And those who have mastered the world economy are simply the masters of the world, the masters of mankind. As you can imagine, how important is this knowledge? Since the birth of mankind, no one has ever been able to bring such insight into economic and social research. There is no knowledge that can be written down so that human beings can master the world economy step by step, become the master of the world, and become the king of mankind. The wisdom of Lord Baisan. It's terrifying. As long as he is willing, it seems that even things like the master world seem to be a trivial matter to him. I really don't know what else in this world can stump Baisan. Perhaps, be a god, even becoming a deity. Orochimaru felt that it was difficult for Baisan. This crazy plan, it seemed certain to be done in Baisan's hands. And he was also destined to be a god. Beyond this narrow world of ninja, beyond this tiny star, he will eventually go to the vast universe and become the supreme god. And myself, it seems to be able to follow in the footsteps of Mr. Baisan. Step by step to gain powerful strength, eternal life, and finally become a god, go to the vast universe. It's simply so crazy, so shocking, so excited, so excited. Brains are shaking. Mr. Baisan is really humble. The wisdom of God that is clearly beyond the ordinary. But so humble, I really don't know what to say. After reading the plan, Orochimaru said in a very complicated tone. As for Baisan, he is still calm. There's no harm in being humble. And humility is also divided. In front of Orochimaru Senpai, I am naturally humble. But in front of other people, I might arrogantly let Orochimaru Senpai not know. As Baisan's words fell, Orochimaru was stunned for a moment, then raised the corners of his mouth and smiled with interest. Since Mr. Baisan said so, then I'm really curious about what Baisan looked like when he was arrogant. But I'm not impatient, then let me look forward to it. In the near future, seeing the arrogant appearance of Lord Baisan. It's getting late, then I'll go first. Looking at Orochimaru who stood up, Baisan was still gentle and polite. Walk slowly without sending. Watching Orochimaru leave, Baisan's eyes became deeper. Dragon Technique, Wood Style Research Report, and Wood Style Potion. Orochimaru's scientific research ability can really be regarded as the first in the ninja world. And because of the limitations of the world and the times, Orochimaru could not fully exert his scientific research talents before he met himself. But after meeting himself, Orochimaru was just a little inspired to achieve so much. Really indescribable, even if I don't want to significantly modify the organs and tissues of the body and destroy the physiological structure of human beings. But Huolong technique can still give me a huge inspiration and it is very useful to me. Rough estimate, the dragon transformation technique can improve my physical fitness by 172% in all aspects. It's still a pretty scary statistic. More importantly, I can use this body modification technology not only for myself, but also for other living beings. Isn't it perfect to use it to assist human experiments? He looked at the scroll on the table, and then looked at the pale green wood-style potion in his hand. Wood-style potion is definitely for research. Baisan will not be injected. Baisan will not consider injecting wood-style until the research is clear. Just consider. At last, Baisan turned his attention to Orochimaru's research report on wood-style. According to the current definition of the bloodline limit, wood-style should be synthesized by two attributes, earth-style and water-style, chakra. But in reality, it is impossible to combine earth-style and water-style into wood-style. Because wood-style represents a huge vitality, and the vitality also represents the Yangdun chakra. Therefore, to integrate wood-style, earth-style, water-style, and Yangdun should be used. So wood-style should belong to the bloodline elimination, not the bloodline limit. But for ninjas, it is already very difficult to fuse chakra from two properties into a new one, let alone three properties into a new one. In the whole ninja world, there are many blood follower limits, but there is only one blood follower elimination. That is Dust Escape. Dust Dun was developed by second Tsuchikage and licensed to its disciple third Tsuchikage Onogi. Its manifestation is, form a deformable translucent enchantment in the hand and launch it to the opponent. It can split opponents into atomic state and destroy them in ashes, capable of producing large-scale explosions. The caster can change the shape of the enchantment according to their own preferences. Ability to split enemies into atomic states. Such a description is enough to prove the power of Chen Dun. And according to Baizan's inference, Chen Dun was not created by conventional means. Instead, Second Tsuchikage uses a special method to combine the three chakras of wind style, earth style and fire style through enchantment. This means, the fusion of chakras with different attributes must also follow some objective laws. As long as you find this objective law, you can learn the principle of chakra fusion, so that you can easily fuse chakras with different attributes to make multiple blood successors. And this, exactly what Orochimaru is exploring. It seems that Orochimaru was really inspired by me. Actually, some basic laws about the formation of the blood following boundaries have been studied. With these patterns and data, it seems that I can deduce magnet style in just 1 month. Mental energy, physical energy, nature transformation. The key to chakra nature transformation is imagination. And the degree of nature transformation lies in understanding. Therefore, the key to the birth of the blood secondary boundary lies in imagination and understanding. Baizan's understanding of electromagnetic force can be said to transcend this world and this era. Both Sunagakur and Cloud Shinobi Village have inherited magnet style. Then how could he not be able to deduce magnet style? The brain works quickly, but a simple and sophisticated magnet style master program is completed in between breaths. Then he took out the scroll and pen and began to write quickly. In this way, time passed quickly, until the next morning. After the Minato class had assembled, Namikaze Minato asked Baizan. For you, there is no doubt about the low-level ninja mission. So let's take an A-level mission that requires killing ninjas. What do you think, Mr. Baizan? I don't think it's a problem, so let's decide, Minato-san. Baizan replied. When 3rd Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen saw the 4 of the Minato class, there was a strange look in his eyes. He, the Grandmaster Telescope Technique, constantly monitors everything in Konoha village. In the last time Namikaze Minato tested Baizan, Kakashi, Yuhiko. He is monitoring, so he knows. Namikaze Minato lived up to his expectations, successfully learned the Flying Thunder God technique, and even used the Flying Thunder God technique like fire, possessing cage-level combat power. The strength is comparable to Jonin's Kakashi, and the talent is stronger than Hatake Tsukumo. He may be able to step into the cage level before he reaches adulthood, and his future achievements are limitless. Yuri Hong is also outstanding. She has the strength of Chunin at a young age, and can also be called a little genius. As for what shocked Sarutobi Hiruzen the most, naturally it is Baizan. That mighty power, that calm attitude, that terrifying sense of oppression. All show a fact. Baizan is not only a genius, but also a powerhouse. Such a powerful combat power is considered one of the best in the current ninja world. Even myself, it is also not necessarily able to beat Baizan. And now Baizan, only 9 years old. Incredible, incredible, incredible. It is unimaginable. Sarutobi Hiruzen would never believe that there is a genius in the ninja world who can have cage-level combat power at the age of 9 if he hadn't seen it with his own eyes. This is something even Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara cannot do. But Baizan did it. What does that mean? Means that Baizan can become a powerhouse comparable to Senju Hashirama. Or does Baizan have the potential to surpass Senju Hashirama? Such talent, it was completely beyond Sarutobi Hiruzen's understanding. Now he looks at Baizan, and his eyes are full of anticipation except shock. He is looking forward to the future of Baizan. In the end, it is comparable to the god of ninjas. Still able to surpass the god of ninjas. He has such a bright future. What kind of changes will it bring to Konoha? Thinking of what Baizan once said to him, Sarutobi Hiruzen's expression also became more relieved. Baizan, who perfectly inherited the will of fire. It must make Konoha stronger and better. Lord Hokage, we would like to receive an A-level mission that requires killing ninjas. Namikaze Minato's voice interrupted Sarutobi Hiruzen's association, and Sarutobi Hiruzen's expression became amiable. Although no students can receive A-level tasks as soon as they graduate and become genin. But things are different for the Minato class. A mere A-level mission, what is the Minato class with 2 cage-level ninjas in the team? After a slight pause, Sarutobi Hiruzen took out and opened a scroll containing mission information, pointed to one of them and said, "These missions are all A-level missions that require killing ninjas. Let's take a look." Looking at the quest scroll, Namikaze Minato felt that these ninjas were not strong enough to pose any threat to him. So he turned his attention to Baisan and asked, "Mr. Baisan, do you want to receive that quest?" Hearing Namikaze Minato asking himself, Baisan glanced at him and replied casually, "It's the country of the wind." Nodding lightly, Namikaze Minato knew that Kakashi and Hong would listen to Baisan, so he replied, "Okay, then we'll take this mission. Hokage-sama, thank you for your hard work." "Yes, that's Hokage's job." After replying, Sarutobi Hiruzen registered the Minato class. Among the leaves, A rank and above quests can only be obtained from Hokage. Low-level tasks don't bother Hokage. Afternoon, Minato class leaves Konoha. The choice to go to the Land of Wind is naturally for Sasori. According to Baisan's calculations, the time when Sasori assassinated Third Kage is in the next 10 days. The time is just right. At the same time, in Sunagakur, looking at the information in his hand, Sasori's expression turned cold, and his eyes were full of killing intent. My guess was right. The death of my parents is really about Third Kage. Because Grandma Chio and Grandpa Abazo have too much power to fight for power. So knowing that the opposite is Konoha's White Fang, I have to send my parents on a mission. It really does not compromise the means to achieve the goal. Now that it's been checked, then I don't have to wait any longer. With a final murmur, Sasori turned his gaze to the wall in front of him. On the wall, pieces hang neatly. The structure of a human could be vaguely seen, as well as the structure of a Sasori-like monster. For revenge, for being eternal, for the eternal art in my heart. I'm not a man anymore. Extend your hands to complete the knot. A shadow clone followed. Sasori lay on the experimental table. Let shadow clone inject himself with anesthesia, and then remodel his body bit by bit. What kind of scene is this? The flesh and bone marrow were removed, and the internal organs were dug out. Special wood and special metal processed by chakra are assembled into a human figure. When the regenerating nucleus replaces the heart, Shadow Clone immediately formed a ninja mark and stretched out his palm. The soul and chakra leave the body and flow into the nucleus of regeneration. At last, replace the head, complete the makeover. Shadow Clone disappears. When Sasori opened his eyes again, he looked at the whole new world, which was completely different from the previous world, and his soul seemed to cheer involuntarily. This is so wonderful. Get rid of the flesh and bone marrow, and replace it with the body of a puppet. What does this mean? Means mechanical immortality. Because there are no eyes, Sasori's vision is different from that of humans. Sasori's hearing is different from that of humans because he has no ears. Sasori's sense of smell is different from that of humans because it lacks a nose. Because there are not all the flesh and blood organs that belong to humans, everything in Sasori is different from humans. Except for the soul. And that's Sasori's genius. In this era of extremely backward technology, the research on chakra is not systematic. Sasori can actually achieve mechanical immortality. This is nothing short of a miracle. To know, Sasori's puppet body is mostly wood. How incredible is this? Mechanical immortality with wood. Without everything of human beings, it can perceive everything in this world. What an incredible feat this is. A small regenerative nucleus that holds Sasori's soul and chakra. And it's not just ordinary storage. It's renewable storage. Even if there is no flesh and blood, Sasori can still make chakra continuously. Why is this? Because spiritual energy is derived from the soul. As long as the soul exists, it can continuously produce spiritual energy. And spiritual energy can also be transformed into chakra through the regenerative nucleus. This is also consistent with Baisan's findings. Single spiritual energy, physical energy, and natural energy can all be transformed into chakra. Certainly, chakra transformed from a single spiritual energy. There is a difference between nature and normal chakra. But the difference is not very big. So Sasori didn't care. As long as the regeneration core is not destroyed, he can exist forever. Perceive the world with your soul and chakra. Control this puppet body with soul and chakra. The flesh and blood are weak, and the body is indeed a human defect. Without the shackles of flesh and blood, how clear the world is. I was able to see more, hear more, and sense more. It's the real world, the world that belongs to the Eternals. After a moment of intoxication, Sasori stretched out his palm. Then, whizzing, hundreds of chakra threads suddenly shot out. Without the constraints of human flesh and blood, he can easily surpass the limits of human beings. But in an instant, the hundreds of chakra threads are connected to the puppet parts hanging from the walls. Then, crack, kick, they flew to Sasori and became Sasori's armor. A special puppet that is similar to a mecha and can wrap Sasori's body. Crimson Amber, a terrifying tall puppet with a twisted grimace on its back, a long metal Sasori tail spit out of the grimace, looking extremely terrifying, like a ferocious monster. It's the perfect timeless art. A slightly hoarse voice came out, and Sasori controlled Hiryuhu freely. Because it is a puppet, so it can easily perform actions that the human body cannot. It can also get rid of the limitations of the human body at will and go beyond the limits of the human body. More importantly, puppets are immortal, eternal, and even more powerful. According to Sasori, this is perfect timeless art. Very good. With this power, it's not difficult to get revenge. Next, let me enjoy this sacred moment of revenge. Father, mother, don't worry, it won't take long, son, I will send your enemies to the Pure Land. The deep voice seemed to have no emotion. But it's so icy cold. The next day, when a secret information appeared on the desk of Feng Ying's office, the face of Third Cage who opened the scroll couldn't help changing greatly. The expression suddenly became cloudy and sunny, and it took 2 seconds for it to return to normal. Then Third Cage pretended to be calm and finished today's affairs in an orderly manner. Until night, a person left Sunagakur secretly. Shortly after, PFF'd, thousands of wooden needles emerged from the sand and shot towards Third Cage's overwhelming shooting in the sky. These dark purple wooden needles can be seen to be poisonous, and they are also highly poisonous. In the sky, Third Cage was carrying a pair of sand and iron wings, and he stretched out his hands with gloomy eyes. Magnet-style sand-iron wall. In the next moment, I saw the sand suddenly set off waves, and the dense iron sand shot straight into the sky. Come to Third Cage and condense into an iron wall. This is a veritable iron sand wall. Then Sasori, who had been prepared for a long time, let Third Cage relieve the crisis so easily. It was at the moment when the iron sand wall was just formed. A figure suddenly emerged from the sand and appeared in front of Third Cage. More importantly, in the hands of this figure, there are still 2 scrolls. The moment when the 2 scrolls were opened, 2 fiery flames rushed towards the iron sand wall like a flamethrower. This is Sasori's special scroll, Fire Prison Array. Its temperature is so high that it can easily melt steel and stone into liquid. And iron sand walls are no exception. Looking at the rapidly melting iron sand wall, Third Cage's face became more and more ugly. The overwhelming poisonous needles made him only defensive. The terrifying flame can easily melt iron sand. Such a trap is simply a lure for him. It seems that I can only do my best. Magnet-style sand-iron wing. Third Cage dominated the pair of iron sand wings behind him, turning them into a second shield to block him. When the flames completely melt the iron sand walls, the shields that the iron sand wings turned into also bought precious time for Third Cage. By mobilizing the whole body of chakra, Third Cage unleashed his strongest move. Magnet-style sand and iron realm. Desert. A huge wave was set off. The dense iron sand flew out of the desert, into the sky, towards Third Cage. These iron sands gathered together and accepted the control of Third Cage, forming a huge barrier. This is an enchantment made of iron sand. In the iron sand barrier, Third Cage can freely manipulate the iron sand. The giant hand made of iron sand easily shattered thousands of poisonous needles. The huge waves made of iron sand mercilessly drowned the fiery flames. The spear turned from iron sand penetrated the figure's body like a broken bamboo. Third Cage saw the blood splatter scene. This made the corners of his mouth rise slightly, and a smug and cruel grin was drawn. You want to assassinate me, Third Cage? I really don't know how high the sky is. He sneered contemptuously, flapping the iron sand wings behind him. Third case cage came to the corpse. He saw Sasori's face. This made his pupils shrink. How could it be Sasori? As third case cage, he didn't think he would mistake the body. And that was the moment when third case cage let down his guard in surprise. Puff! A sharp metal Sasori tail ran through third case cage's body. He still wanted to say something. But the anesthetic on Sasori's tail had already taken effect. Make third case cage an adult puppet. It will be a perfect revenge full of artistry. And a human puppet made by third case cage. It will also be my most perfect and most powerful eternal artwork. The hoarse voice did not fluctuate in the slightest, nor did it have the slightest temperature. Like the eternal ice of the polar regions. After 3 days, Kakashi's entire body was covered with lightning, and the dense electric current made 1,000 bird-like cry. Zzzz, zzz. The whole person moved as fast as lightning. One after another, the wind blades cut through the void, passing Kakashi. Having such a terrifying speed at such a young age, and mastering the advanced lightning style that I have never heard of. Are Konoha's ninjas all monsters? Am I going to die in the desert of the Land of Winds today? Absolutely not. However, no matter how unwilling this villainous wandering ninja is. At this time Kakashi has also come to his back. The lightning-style chakra on the short sword suddenly changed color from white to dark blue. The chirping of thousands of birds suddenly disappeared. In silence, the short sword slid across the neck. Puff! The head flew and fell to the ground. A piece of sand is dyed red. That's the moment Kakashi kills the enemy. Bison, Namikaze Minato, and Hong Yuhi also appeared suddenly. Kakashi, good job. There were no mistakes, and the mission target was killed cleanly. It seems that A-level tasks are still a little easier for us. Hearing Namikaze Minato's praise, Kakashi's eyes also showed a little smile. Thank you for your compliment, Mr. Minato. Keep going. After finally encouraging Kakashi, Namikaze Minato said to Yuhika. Red, it's up to you to deal with the head of the mission target. Okay, Mr. Minato. Hong Yuhi replied obediently, and then began to deal with the head of the mission target. Namikaze Minato also showed a satisfied expression when he looked at the skilled Yuhika. Then, he looked at Bison. At this moment, Bison is looking west. Over there, he sensed a strange magnetic field. That's not the human magnetic field. But it has certain similarities with the human magnetic field. This allows Bison to be sure. This magnetic field is likely to belong to Sasori. It can change itself into a puppet body and achieve mechanical immortality. According to Bison, this is a genius among very potential geniuses. Such a genius, naturally, it is also an important role in Bison's plan. Even if it's me, I haven't been involved in the realm of the soul yet. And there is no flesh and blood to maintain Chakra's existence. I am very curious about how this Sasori did it. But, according to time, and many more, also at this moment, Bison suddenly sensed another magnetic field. This magnetic field is more complex and stronger than Sasori's, and it also gives Bison a very special response. Is this magnet style? Could it be that Sasori has made third case cage a human puppet? With his brain running fast, Bison felt that his guess should be correct. This also made Bison's eyes flash with a strange color. Looking at Bison's strange reaction, Namikaze Minato asked curiously. Mr. Bison, what did you find? When Namikaze Minato's voice came into Bison's ears, Bison's expression changed and he replied. Senior Minato, I think it's very likely that something big has happened to Sunagaku. Third case cage, it is possible to die there. This simple sentence made Namikaze Minato's heart tremble. Where did third case cage die? That's third case cage. Who can kill him? Who is the murderer? In the end, what happened? How will Sunagaku react after third case cage's death? Will it lead to war? A series of questions popped up in Namikaze Minato's mind, making Namikaze Minato's expression more serious and serious. As for Kakashi and Yuhi Hong on the side, although not as deep and as far as Namikaze Minato, but there was a bit more seriousness and prudence on their faces. After all, third case cage is a shadow. Such a big man actually died. Of course it's not an easy thing. After a slight pause, Bison immediately turned his attention to Kakashi and Yuhika. Kakashi and Hong, you all go back to the hotel first. I and Minato-san went to find out the information. Listening to Baisan's words, Namikaze Minato has no opinion, but is very supportive. Yes, Kakashi still has Hong. You all go back to the hotel first, and Baisan and I are going to inquire about the information. Well, then Mr. Minato, Mr. Baisan, we will go to the hotel first. Kakashi nodded and replied. Hong Yuhi didn't say a word, but nodded obediently, expressing no opinion. Then, Baisan and Namikaze Minato looked at each other. The two disappeared in the next moment. Baisan is like lightning, Namikaze Minato is like flash. The speed is astonishingly fast. At the same time, looking at third cage, who had been made into a puppet by himself, Sasori, who had no expression, let out a hoarse and cold mechanical voice. Perfect. It's so perfect. The undead body, all the chakra, all the ninjutsu, and the magnet-style bloodline limit perfectly preserved. It's third cage, even more powerful than the living third cage. More perfect. After all, the third cage dies, and it doesn't. Satisfied, very satisfied, Sasori's fingers stretched out, and a chakra thread landed on third cage's human puppet. He controlled the puppet very easily and controlled it to kneel. Kneeling in front of Sasori. At this moment, behind Sasori, there are two puppets. And the names of these two puppets. One is called the father and the other is called the mother. He looked down at the kneeling third cage, and turned to look at the standing father and mother. Sasori tried to laugh, but the expression on his face didn't change. Then he wanted to cry again. It's just that puppets don't cry. Then he wanted to say something. But he didn't know what to say or what to say. At this moment, Sasori was extremely confused. But soon, he got rid of this tangle. Because he felt, two people broke into his barrier. So fast. There was a ray of surprise in his soul, and Sasori quickly put away his father and mother. Leaving the puppet studio with third cage. Soon, Namikaze Minato and Baisan met third cage and Sasori. Namikaze Minato laughed for a moment when he saw third cage, and then he quickly discovered the chakra thread. This also allows bold guesses to reveal the truth. Third cage is really dead. And the corpse was also made into a puppet. This is really incredible. As for Baisan, there was a twinkle in his eyes. Although Baisan knew that Sasori was a very talented genius. But I saw Sasori with my own eyes. Only then can we understand how strong Sasori's talents are. Fei Liu, who's similar to the mecha. If you let Sasori learn about mechanics, maybe it can really upgrade Fei Liu into a huge manned mecha made of metal. Such a creature, definitely a veritable weapon of war. And this human puppet made from the corpse of third cage. All the chakra, all the ninjutsu, plus the original blood and the immortal body of the puppet. Such a human puppet has cage-level combat power. Sasori can control hundreds of puppets at the same time. That is, just give Sasori enough cage-level ninja strength. He'll be able to craft and control a cage-level army of hundreds. Even, Baisan can also give Sasori some more help. Will he be able to push his own limits and achieve greater achievements? Calculate like this. How high will Sasori's ceiling be? To know whether it is Fei Liu or a human puppet. Both are Sasori's crowning achievements. Sasori's highest achievement is himself. Obtain the eternal Sasori of mechanical immortality. Without physical energy, the soul generates spiritual energy. A single spiritual energy can also generate chakra, and chakra can also carry the soul. This technique of transferring the soul and chakra to the regenerative core is really ingenious. Certainly, this regeneration nucleus is really incredible. It can actually assist the transformation of mental energy into chakra. And also, third cage's magnetic field is very special. This particularity is due to the nature of the magnet style. I seem to know how to get magnet style. If you can get some magnet style chakra today, I can get magnet style in up to 3 days. The huge treasure was right in front of him, which made Baisan's mouth twitch involuntarily. As for Sasori, he looked at Namikaze Minato and then at Baisan. Elite Jonin of Konoha, Namikaze Minato. I didn't expect him to actually have the power of a shadow. As for this Konoha shinobi, what an incredible monster. Sasori could see that Baisan was very young. Moreover, he has become a puppet, and his perception ability is not comparable to that of ordinary ninjas. He can easily perceive The horrible chakra inside Bison. This is the fission chakra produced by the chakra reactor. Bison with this chakra must have a strong fighting force. That is absolutely comparable to cage-level combat power. I thought I was a rare genius in the ninja world. I didn't expect Konoha to be born with a genius so much stronger than me. A genius of genius, a monster of monsters. Only. He's still just human. Is human. There are many weaknesses. Is human. Will die. But not human. So why is he afraid? Good dogs out of the way. You two Konoha shinobi better get out of the way. The hoarse and icy mechanical voice did not waver at all, but it was full of arrogance and arrogance. Staring at Sasori, who didn't look like a human, Namikaze Minato's heart was filled with intense vigilance. Can kill third Cage and make third Cage a puppet. How strong is this monster? Are you going to take risks? If only by yourself. Namikaze Minato will definitely use the Flying Thunder God technique to test Sasori and get as much information about Sasori as possible. But now there is another Bison by his side. Bison is Konoha's future hope. In case of an accident, then he becomes a sinner. After all, he is not yet able to teleport people using the Flying Thunder God technique. However, when Namikaze Minato hesitated and struggled, Bison made a choice for Namikaze Minato. What if I don't get out of the way? A rat who hides his true body under a puppet. Not qualified to make way for me. Although I value the talent of Sasori very much. But since he dared to call himself a dog, then scold you back first, then beat him again. Beaten. Recruit again. Otherwise, how could such a genius be willing to surrender? Hearing Bison's reply, Sasori's body suddenly froze. He stared at Bison, killing intent is lingering. Looks like I have one more item in my collection. I just hope that Konoha won't go crazy after your arrogant puppy dies. Bison unceremoniously replied tit for tat. The invisible mouse dares to speak wildly. After getting Bison's reply, Sasori finally spit out 2 words. Very good. Then, move your finger. Third Cage seals abruptly. And when it comes up, it's the strongest move. Magnet-style sand and iron realm. Crash, crash come. The desert set off huge waves. Dense iron sand soared out of the desert, gathered into an iron sand enchantment. In all directions, the sky and the ground are filled with iron sand. Completely shrouded third Cage, Sasori, Namikaze Minato, and Bison. And in the next instant, the iron sand surged and seemed to be about to turn into long thorns, piercing and killing Bison and Namikaze Minato. But in the face of such an attack, Bison just thought about it. The super electromagnetic field rotates suddenly, destroying the magnetic field stability of the magnet style. Bang! Only to hear a muffled sound. The overwhelming iron sand collapsed in an instant. The iron sand that has lost the control of the magnetic field falls like raindrops. Such a scene. Sasori was stunned when he saw it. How can that be? This Konoha actually has magnet style. And his magnet style is so much stronger than third Cage's magnet style. Although it was very shocking, Sasori's reaction was not slow at all. With a thought, the mechanism on Fei Liuhu was activated. Fei Liuhu needle 8 waves. The ultra-high-density poisonous needles and stingers are fired from the mouths of Fei Liuhu's human puppets, which are extremely fast and difficult to dodge. The mechanism was activated, the mouthparts were deformed, and the dense needles and stingers shot at Bison in an instant, like a hurricane. Whoosh whoosh, whoosh whoosh. Watching this scene, Bison unhurriedly took out a storage scroll. Want to attract Sasori. Bison's preparations are quite abundant. The parts of Dongwang's suit appeared and directly covered Bison's body under the action of super electromagnetic field. In an instant, Bison completed his transformation. This is the Dongwang suit that was originally used to give Bison a cage-level combat power in advance. After several optimizations and upgrades by Bison, although it is impossible to make Bison have super cage-level fighting power, but it can also increase Bison's combat power by 42%. Such an increase is enough to give Bison a formidable combat power comparable to the peak of cage level. It will even allow Bison to crush the current Sasori of red sand. Crack, accompanied by the full launch of the Dongwang battle suit. The bursting thunder suddenly burst out, releasing an astonishing momentum. Crackling, crackle, bathed in thunder, Bison looks terrifying, like a god. More importantly, the super electromagnetic field was amplified by the Eastern Emperor's suit, and the electromagnetic force generated almost instantly made the overwhelming poisonous needles and stingers still, suspended in midair. That terrifying sense of oppression, even Sasori felt his soul tremble. Too strong. Such pressure. Horrible. Such a gesture. What kind of monster is this? And this armor. It's so beautiful. Simply the most perfect piece of art. If this armor can be made into a puppet. That was just so inspiring. How did this Konoha shinobi get this armor? Did he make it himself? Want to get it? Then do some research. Sasori was shocked, fearful, trembling, curious, longing, greedy. As for Namikaze Minato, also shocked. He never imagined that Bison still had such a whole card. That is, last time I discussed with myself. Bison hadn't done his best yet. I really don't know what to say to Namikaze Minato. But, this armor is so handsome. I really want to BBDC. However, at the next moment, Bison's eyes narrowed, and the powerful super electromagnetic field suddenly turned. The terrifying electromagnetic force swarmed thousands of poisonous needles and stingers in an instant. No surprise. Boom bang 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 bang. They are crushed into powder. At the same time, Bison's arm kept turning, and the electromagnetic field suddenly turned, generating a powerful propulsive force in an instant. When the Thunder Spear was condensed in Bison's hands, this propulsive force gave the Thunder Spear an acceleration. Then, this Thunder Spear disappeared into Bison's palm at a speed of more than 20 times the speed of sound. So fast. Like thunder. Do not. It's God's punishment. Even a mountain. They will all be shattered into slag under the power of the Thunder Spear on this day. Its power has surpassed Tailed Beast Bomb. Too late. There is no way to hide. But in an instant, the Thunder Spear fell on the sand between Sasori and Third Cage. Boom. It was an earth-shattering explosion. The dazzling thunder was so bright that it was impossible for mortals to look directly. The dense currents splashed in all directions. The desert was blasted with waves, and large tracts of gravel were scattered like a torrential rain. The terrifying shock wave formed ripples visible to the naked eye. The gust of wind howled and roared, as if responding to the thunderclap of thunder. Crackling, crackle, hoo, that horrible aftermath. Even Namikaze Minato couldn't take it. Quickly resorted to the body flicker technique and disappeared in place. Seizing this opportunity, Bison turned the super electromagnetic field. Capture a relatively complete human puppet katakana middle. Third Cage. At the same time, he buried Sasori, who had lost Fei Liuhu and 2/3 of his puppet body, in the desert. The terrifying aftermath did not subside until half a minute later. When Namikaze Minato appeared next to Bison, only Third Cage was left on the sand. Returning to normal, Bison is suspended in midair. The expression seemed a little dignified. Looking at Bison's expression, Namikaze Minato knew that the enemy was not dead. It also made him feel a little horrified. In the face of such a terrifying attack, he still had a way to escape. Such an enemy. It's terrifying. If he takes revenge on Konoha in the future, I really don't know what the consequences will be. Senior Minato, no matter what, let's go back to Konoha. Tell Hokage-sama about the information, and Hokage-sama must have his own way of dealing with it. A little meal, Namikaze Minato replied with a heavy tone. We can only do this. After getting a response from Namikaze Minato, Bison manipulated the super electromagnetic field to capture Third Cage. Collect the Third Cage into the storage scroll. Bison and Namikaze Minato disappeared immediately. Back to the hotel. Neither Bison nor Namikaze Minato disclosed information about today to Kakashi and Yuhi. Just saying that things are resolved, we will rest for a night and return to Konoha tomorrow. After returning to the room, Bison took out Third Cage's puppet. A magnet-style chakra was extracted from it, and I felt it carefully. The perception during the day is certainly not wrong. Magnet-style chakra has a special layer of solidified magnetic field. That is to say, as long as the magnetic field is solidified on the chakra, ordinary chakra can be transformed into magnet-style chakra. It's just that this special chakra magnetic field has a specific frequency, so Third Cage's magnet style can only manipulate iron sand. So it can be concluded that the frequency of chakra's magnetic field is different, and the magnetic substances that magnet style can manipulate are also different. Third case cage can handle sand iron, fourth case cage can handle sand gold, one-tail Shukaku and Gara can handle gravel. Besides that, Cloud Shinobi Troy also has a different performance with magnet style. He can magnetize what he touches, and he can also transfer what the caster touches to other objects, and then attack the enemy with magnetism. Well, I roughly understand. It's really easy for me. I was completely able to use lightning style, a super electromagnetic weapon, to change the super electromagnetic field from curing on the body to curing on the chakra. So I can get magnet style. As for how to solidify the super electromagnetic field on chakra, my brain also has an idea. Finally, after thinking a sentence in his heart, Bison closed his eyes, controlled chakra with all his strength, and unfolded the super electromagnetic field. Today, Bison is about to crack the mystery of master magnet style. The human body is full of bioelectricity. Bioelectricity naturally generates a magnetic field. The magnetic field and the magnetic field also have mutual magnetic fields. So this is the reason why the super electromagnetic field can be solidified on the body. Because the body has a biomagnetic field. And the biomagnetic field is very easy to be sensed and influenced. But it is not so simple to solidify the super electromagnetic field in chakra. Because chakra's magnetic field is very weak and difficult to perceive. Although it is weak, it is difficult to perceive. But it is not imperceptible. To know, Bison developed the chakra reactor, studied the wave-particle duality of chakra, and made use of the influence of electromagnetic force on the magnetic field of chakra. With this experience, want to solidify super electromagnetic fields on chakra. It is not a difficult thing. And also after Bison solidified the super electromagnetic field on chakra, Bison discovered another special property of chakra. Memory. This is a special property similar to memory metals. When the super electromagnetic field is solidified on the chakra will remember the super electromagnetic field. Thereby, the characteristics of generating a super electromagnetic field are obtained. This feature surprised Bison very much. Because this means, as long as Bison can inject chakra, other substances can obtain the properties of super electromagnetic field. As a result, Bison has the ability to enchant and royal objects. Endows a sword with a magnetic field and dominates it from a distance. This is the power of the sword fairy. Yujian Chinli beheads people. Bison felt that the magnetism of his chakra was getting stronger and stronger. When the magnetism reaches a limit, the fission chakra is all transformed into magnet-style chakra. And the super electromagnetic field has also gained a certain increase. Even the super electromagnetic field is permanently solidified on chakra and becomes a passive skill. No need to activate, Bison can also control the super electromagnetic field at will. What an amazing feeling. Is this the so-called bloodline boundary? Magnet-style chakra in the chakra circulatory system, part of it is transformed into physical energy and spiritual energy. Therefore, it strengthens the body and spirit, and enables the body and spirit to acquire the characteristics of super electromagnetic fields. This allows me to feel not only the fundamental magnetic field of everything, but also the chakra magnetic field and the spiritual field. The chakra magnetic field allows me to judge the strength and attributes of the opponent. And the mental magnetic field has given me a part of the ability to read minds. Through the fluctuation of the other party's mental magnetic field, we can know what the other party is thinking. It's just too powerful. These abilities are just the basic abilities of magnet style. Bison can be further developed. For example, it integrates its own chakra magnetic field, life magnetic field, and spiritual magnetic field with the super electromagnetic field to form a grand unified magnetic field. In a sense, this grand unified magnetic field is in line with all the sayings that essence, energy and spirit are mixed together, and it may be able to produce some miraculous changes, thereby greatly improving chakra, life, and spirit. And the grand unified magnetic field can not only control the electromagnetic force more deeply and tastefully, but also affect life and spirit. By affecting your life and spirit, you can make your life and spirit stronger. By affecting the life and spirit of others, you can make others your own toys, any master, transformation, and domination of each other. Besides, you can even touch the concepts of human body microcosm, and magnetic field rotation, with the help of the grand unified magnetic field. At that time, I really don't know what level of my combat power can reach. Maybe it will be Super Cage level, or the 6 Paths level. No matter what you think, Magnet Style's promotion of Bison is huge. Bison also can't wait to study and analyze Magnet Style research and develop it to ultimate. A ninja with a bloodline limit, whether it is chakra, or physical, or spiritual, is a huge difference from ordinary ninjas. The extraordinary ability of chakra is really amazing. His eyes narrowed slightly, and a ray of deep purple light flashed across Bison's pupils. Silently, Bison once again had a metamorphosis. The current Bison does not use the Dongwang suit to augment himself. It also has the strength of the peak of cage level. More importantly, Bison's road ahead is very clear. Sage mode, and developing magnet style. These 2 paths, as long as one chooses one, can let Bison step into the super cage level. But Bison has the ability to choose everything. This might mean 6 paths. It is not far from Bison. Opening the window and looking at the silver moon in the sky and the stars in the sky, Bison made a seal with one hand. A shadow clone suddenly appeared. After taking the scroll that Bison handed over, Shadow Clone disappeared immediately. Not long ago, Shadow Clone dug out Sasori from the deep desert with only half of his body and head left. You obviously have the power to kill me easily. It didn't kill me. And buried me in the depths of the desert, who lost my ability to move. It seems that you monster doesn't trust Konoha. There is a huge ambition hidden in the young heart. The hoarse voice sounded, and there were many emotions and speculations in Sasori's soul, which made Bison feel a strong fear in his heart. The world needs genius. Let geniuses with the ability to change the world die easily. It's such a waste. But you're right, I really don't trust Konoha, and I have a deep ambition hidden in my heart. I need your talents. Bison's voice was flat, full of calmness, as if he was saying a real thing. Sasori, who is not human, can naturally hear the sincerity in Bison's words. This also gave him a sense of identity. This monstrous genius. He actually said he has the talent to change the world. Really honored. But, does he want to use his talents? This is very interesting. You need my talents. Ha ha, it is not an easy thing to get my surrender. Quote. Not to mention, even if I say I am willing to surrender to you. Do you dare to trust me? Sasori's voice was still hoarse, still as cold as a machine, still trying to state a fact. Looking at Sasori, who was powerless to resist, Bison smiled confidently and spit out confident words. I don't need to trust you, I just need to trust myself. I believe that nothing can resist me. I believe in my absolute ability to dominate everything. So saying, Bison took out the storage scroll. Then he threw the parts of an Eastern Emperor's suit on the sand at will. The human puppet made by Third Cage will be treated as a greeting gift from you. And this Eastern Emperor's battle uniform is a gift from me to you. Your puppet is too weak and too ugly. I hope it can give you enough inspiration to make you a more powerful and perfect puppet. Bison's words first made Sasori stunned for a moment, then shocked, and angry. What is the puppet of the Third Cage as a greeting gift from me? It's obviously you who stole it. Really shameless. But, this Eastern Emperor's battle uniform was given to him so easily. As an insider, Sasori is quite aware of the preciousness of the Eastern Emperor's suit. This is definitely the product of the era. Get along with it. Sunagaker, and even all of his own puppets, are trash. As Bison said, the Fei Liuhu, which he made meticulously, and the puppet body were all too weak. But, you call them ugly, and Sasori has a hard time accepting them. Just when he wanted to open his mouth to refute, he looked at the exquisite and gorgeous Dongwang battle clothes in front of him. He couldn't say anything anymore. Like, ugly indeed. Taking a deep look at Bison, he understood Bison's confidence. The Konoha shinobi, feeling that he is in control of everything and that no one can surpass him. He does not kill himself. 0.00. Really just feel like a genius like me. Very sad to die. He wanted to help me to make the most of my talents. At last, he may want to harvest the crystals of his own wisdom. Hehehehe, what a monstrous genius, cold-blooded and domineering. But since you spared my life, In the near future. I'll spare your life, too. You can try it. Hearing Baisan's words, Sasori did not reply. Instead, a hidden switch on the regeneration core was activated. Boom! With a muffled sound, the regeneration core suddenly shot out a large number of chakra lines. These chakra lines easily split the puppet body, and then connected to the 28 parts of the Eastern Emperor's suit. But between breaths, Sasori, who turned into an armored man, stood in front of Baisan. One last look at Baisan. Sasori didn't say a word, then turned and left. As for Baisan, looking at Sasori who freely controls the Eastern Emperor's suit, there was also some appreciation in his eyes. With such a complex Dongwang suit, Sasori was able to perform simple manipulations in such a short period of time. What an incredible genius. As for Sasori, who is controlling the Eastern Emperor's suit, it also gave a deeper understanding of Baisan's horror. Perfect, it's so perfect. This armor is simply the most perfect work of art. Every part, every structure is so perfect. As long as I can study this armor thoroughly, I must be able to make the most powerful puppet in the ninja world. It will be a great work of art that will be eternal and immortal. This is the dream I want to pursue. Wait for me. When I finish my puppet, I can spare your life. Watching Sasori leave, Baisan said nothing. It's just a shadow clone. A liter of smoke. Baisan in the room couldn't help raising the corners of his mouth. He knows. Sasori has become his own pawn. He will research mechanical ninja tools for himself. Growing melons reaps melons, and sowing beans reaps beans. Plant the seeds of mechanics, and I will reap the endless machinery. The way the puppets are made is somewhat beyond Baisan's expectations. It is a specially treated corpse. And here the special treatment, including anti-corrosion and transformation. Mainly in remodeling. In the body of the human puppet, there is a kind of puppet core similar to the regeneration core. It functions like a battery, mainly used to store chakra, and has a special function. It is to use chakra to keep the puppet alive. Through this puppet core, Baisan can not only restore the production method of human puppets but also make chakra batteries. Combined with the technology of the Eastern Emperor's suit, Baisan has been able to make the chakra robot. And on this puppet core, Baisan also saw some structures of the regeneration core. As long as he studies one or two, Baisan has the confidence to restore the regeneration nucleus. That is the core device that can store the soul and achieve mechanical immortality. Soul field. After thinking aloud in his heart, Baisan wrote the technical deduction about the puppet core and regeneration core on the scroll. I want to be an all-knowing, all-powerful deity. The realm of the soul is the only way that Baisan cannot bypass. However, in the short term, Baisan will not study these. Because in front of Baisan, there are two Yankang avenues, Shanshu and magnet style. After taking notes, Baisan collected some of third Casecage's blood and tissue cells, and gave it to Namikaze Minato before returning to Konoha. Senior Minato, I have finished my research. You leave this to Hokage-sama. Namikaze Minato naturally knew what was in the storage scroll, nodded to Baisan, and took it. I see. In this way, Baisan returned home with a full reward. And Namikaze Minato came to the Hokage office. After he reported all the information to Third Hokage, Sarutobi Hiruzen's face has become very embarrassed. Third Casecage is actually dead. And it was also made into a puppet. Take the storage scroll and open it. Seeing the familiar yet unfamiliar third Casecage appearing in front of him, Sarutobi Hiruzen's expression sank involuntarily. Sunagaker, who lost the third Casecage, will inevitably start a war if he wants to survive and shift the conflict. Because they are too short of supplies. Where are the most supplies? Nature is the land of fire. As long as they loot a small town, they can obtain a lot of resources. Food, water, clothes, money. After a slight pause, Sarutobi Hiruzen felt a little fortunate again. You can get this information in advance. From the very beginning of the war, Konoha had already gained the upper hand. This also softened Sarutobi Hiruzen's face a bit. In fact, he also knew that war was extremely avoided. Sooner or later he will face. Now the advantage is in Konoha. He doesn't have to be sad because of the war. You should be happy and optimistic. Thinking of this, Sarutobi Hiruzen seemed to have thought of a detail, and then asked Namikaze Minato. By the way, Minato, you just said that the murderer who killed third Cage and made it into a puppet was defeated by Bison in one move. Yes, Lord Hokage, Namikaze Minato replied earnestly. Looking at Namikaze Minato's reaction, Sarutobi Hiruzen pondered for 2 seconds and then asked. Then how strong do you think Bison is now? He also played against third Cage. Knowing that the strength of third Cage is indeed not weak. After all, he is known as the strongest Hokage of all dynasties, and third Cage is called the strongest Cage of all dynasties. A puppet master capable of killing the strongest Cage in history, third Cage. No matter how you think about it, you can't be weak. Such a powerful puppet master. He was actually defeated by Bison. So how strong is Bison? Shouldn't it has surpassed my Hokage? Faced with this question from third Hokage, Namikaze Minato pondered for 2 seconds before replying in a very complicated tone. I can't define Bison-kun's strength, and he defeated the puppet master with just one move. It simply didn't bring out the full potential of Bison-kun himself. All I know is that I can't stop it. Having said that, Namikaze Minato paused for a moment, then hesitantly said. However, I estimate that perhaps Bison-kun's strength is similar to that of White Fang's predecessors. The uncertain answer surprised Sarutobi Hiruzen. That's Konoha's White Fang. Has Bison's strength reached the level of Konoha's White Fang? It's amazing to know. The current Bison is only 9 years old. Think back to the glory days of Konoha's White Fang. Strength surpasses Sannin. A White Fang short sword does not know how many enemies are frightened. At such a young age, Bison possesses fighting power comparable to Konoha's White Fang. This really makes it hard for Sarutobi Hiruzen to imagine how high Bison will achieve in the future. And Sarutobi Hiruzen also knew. The current Bison has not yet fought on the battlefield. Although the battlefield is cruel, it is also a way of training ninjas. As long as you can survive on the battlefield, Bison can not only gain great fame, but also make great progress. Think carefully. Tsunagaku has now lost the third Cage. And the unidentified puppet master is also likely to be a ninja from Tsunagaku. That is, the current Tsunagaku's strength is already very weak. There was a little thought in his eyes, and after a slight pause, Sarutobi Hiruzen showed a serious expression. I know Minato. Your Minato class did a great job on this mission. Therefore, the mission level was raised to S level. The reward for the task will also be increased tenfold. Hearing Sarutobi Hiruzen's words, Namikaze Minato also showed a smile like a little son. Yes, Lord Hokage, but the voice is very serious. Seeing Namikaze Minato's reaction, Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded in satisfaction. Then his face became straight, and he continued with a serious tone. But Minato, you should be able to guess. Now that third Cage is dead, Tsunagaku is bound to go to war. For the land of fire and Konoha, I will send the Minato squad to the battlefield. You know Bison's talent too. I hope you can protect Bison, Minato. Only through blood and fire can Bison qualify for 4th Hokage. After a second pause, Namikaze Minato replied solemnly. Yes, Lord Hokage, I will definitely protect Bison, please rest assured. Well, I believe you. Go back to rest for 2 days and meet the arrival of the war in the best condition. Yes, Lord Hokage. Watching Namikaze Minato leave, Sarutobi Hiruzen's eyes became deeper and deeper. Without Bison, Namikaze Minato is also an excellent candidate to become 4th Hokage. It's a pity. As for Namikaze Minato, although he also knows that Bison is the best candidate to become 4th Hokage. But hearing 3rd Hokage seems to have decided that Bison will be 4th Hokage. This still makes Namikaze Minato, who dreams of becoming a Hokage, a little uncomfortable. But Namikaze Minato is Namikaze Minato after all. I won't be jealous of Bison, and I won't have some dark thoughts in my heart. He just wanted to protect Bison well. Hope Bison after becoming Hokage. It can bring a better future to Konoha. Evening. According to the agreed time. Minato Class Collection. The level of this mission has been upgraded to S level by Lord Hokage, and the reward of the mission has also been increased tenfold. Namikaze Minato distributes rewards as usual. Bison et al. Also didn't pay too much attention to these rewards. Just looking at Namikaze Minato, waiting for his next words. Seriously looked at Baisan, Kakashi, and Yuhihong in front of him. Namikaze Minato said in a more serious tone. The war is really coming. In 2 days, our Minato class will go to the front. You prepare for the war in the best possible condition these 2 days. Kakashi. Yes, Minato-sensei. Yuhika. Yes, Minato-sensei. Baisan. Yes, brother Minato. Disbanded. After disbanding, Kakashi found Baisan. Kakashi was not surprised by the coming of war, because Baisan predicted the time when the war would break out 3 years ago. Facing the war, Kakashi prepared for 3 years. Of course he wouldn't be nervous, even very excited and very looking forward to it. Because he never forgets. Why did he separate from his father? Why did his father leave Konoha in suspended animation? It's all because of Shimura Danzo. In Konoha, Shimura Danzo is powerful. And they have evidence, so they can't deal with Shimura Danzo. Only war comes. It was only possible for them to kill Shimura Danzo, find evidence, clear his father's injustice, and let them meet again. This day, Kakashi has been looking forward to it, and has been waiting for a long, long time. He can't wait any longer. Baisan-kun, what are we going to do next? Don't be in a hurry, we have all waited for 3 years, don't miss this opportunity because of the urgency. Calm down, Kakashi. Baisan's calm voice entered Kakashi's ears, making Kakashi calm down a bit. Taking a deep breath, the eagerness on Kakashi's face disappeared. Seeing this scene, Baisan nodded with satisfaction, then continued. This war is bound to be a melee between the 5 major villages. And because Konoha is the strongest, so the other 4 big villages will attack Konoha. Our Konoha has many forces, but they are mainly divided into the following 6 parts. Hokage with Anbu, Danzo with Root, the Uchiha clan, the Hyuga clan, the Inoshikacho and other small ninja clans, and other ninja squads. Among them, Lord Hokage needs to sit in Konoha and be responsible for commanding and preventing sneak attacks. The other 5 factions will be sent to the battlefield. That is to say, only until the full-scale war breaks out. We will have a chance for revenge. But according to my speculation, Shimura Danzo was most likely sent to Kurigakure. I will tell Mr. Sakumo this news. Kakashi, you can't behave abnormally. Understand? Yes, Baisan-kun. Chapter 71. After returning home, Baisan took out a pen and paper. Since I have Master's Magnet style, my current priority is to upgrade Lightning style super electromagnetic arms to Magnet style super electromagnetic arms. As for the upgrade ideas, nature is unifying the chakra magnetic field, the life magnetic field, and the spiritual magnetic field by using the super electromagnetic field. Certainly, because magnet-style chakra can generate super electromagnetic fields. So the super electromagnetic field also includes the chakra magnetic field. Then I just need to use super electromagnetic weapons to unify the life magnetic field and the spiritual magnetic field. And the life magnetic field is the biological magnetic field, and it is also the magnetic field I am most familiar with, so it is not difficult for me to unify the life magnetic field with the super electromagnetic field. Thus, the only difficulty is the mental magnetic field. According to Baisan, the spiritual magnetic field can also be called the soul magnetic field. Perhaps the laws of each world are different. No one in the past life can prove the existence of the soul. But in this world, there are countless evidences that can prove the existence of the soul. Even not long ago, Baisan got Sasori's soul transplant and storage technology from the puppet, third cage. Kindness. Not long ago, the magnetic field I sensed from Sasori was a mental magnetic field. Baisan is very familiar with the chakra magnetic field. And it is clear that the chakra magnetic field is very weak. Therefore, the magnetic field that he perceives from Sasori must be the spiritual magnetic field. The special form of existence of the mental magnetic field. Let Baisan think a little. Compared with his own spiritual magnetic field, Sasori's spiritual magnetic field seems to be very powerful and unusual. The biggest difference between a magnetic field and a magnetic field is the frequency of the magnetic field. And magnetic fields of different frequencies can affect each other. Perhaps there is a mutual restraint between the life magnetic field and the spiritual magnetic field. Wrong. In this world, life represents yang, and spirit represents yin. The relationship between yin and yang should be mutual growth and mutual restraint. Yin and yang, positive and negative, cathode and anode. Whispering in a low voice like this, a completed plan to upgrade lightning-style electromagnetic arms to magnet-style electromagnetic arms also appeared in Baisan's mind. Electricity generates magnetism, magnetism generates electricity. Current will flow from positive to negative. Magnetic fields are also generated during this process. And the magnetic field also affects the current, and the current also affects the magnetic field. Electricity and magnetism are like yin and yang, life and soul. Allelopathy. Just transform the chakra reactor inside the body into a nuclear power plant. It can perfectly upgrade lightning-style electromagnetic arms to magnet-style electromagnetic arms. By the time, the current that Baisan can control is not an ordinary current, but nuclear power, and the magnetic field generated by nuclear power will not be an ordinary magnetic field. It's NMR. In this way, the super electromagnetic field will also be upgraded to Grand Unified Electromagnetic Field. After letting out a sigh involuntarily, Baisan began to write quickly and quickly. At the same time, in Raichi Cave, the white snake immortal looked at Orochimaru, and the dragon-like vertical pupils glowed with golden light, which made him look extraordinarily extraordinary. As an immortal, its abilities are beyond what ordinary ninjas can imagine. The newly built chakra reactor in Orochimaru is so conspicuous in the eyes of the white snake immortal. Is there such a change in chakra? It's just incredible. The chakra in Orochimaru is increasing rapidly, both in quality and quantity. And this chakra, which contains terrifying energy fluctuations, can also transform Orochimaru's body and soul. Orochimaru's constitution is obviously not suitable for practicing magic. But under the transformation of this terrifying chakra, he has become able to practice immortality. It's really amazing. Sigh, shocked, delighted, curious. Orochimaru looked at the complex expression of the white snake immortal, and his eyes narrowed slightly, revealing the same dragon-like vertical pupils. He probably guessed why the white snake immortal showed such an expression. It's because of the chakra reactor. Really, even the immortals will be shocked by Baisan's wisdom. Last time Baisan told me, the exchange of knowledge will not reduce knowledge, but will bring out the value of knowledge and make us all stronger. And agreed that I can take out the chakra reactor in exchange for knowledge of the same value, or treasure. Just give him a share of the benefits. Maybe this time, I was able to use the chakra reactor and get something good from the white snake fairy. Orochimaru, like Baisan, knowing that the white snake immortal has lived for an unknown number of years, there must be a lot of precious knowledge in his brain, and there must be a lot of precious treasures on his body. He also longed for, just not completely sure, he also did not dare to do anything to the white snake immortal. But now I dare not do it. But it doesn't mean that you won't dare to do it in the future. Since listening to Baisan's crazy plan, Orochimaru knew that he had taken refuge with Baisan-kun, and his future was bright and bright. Wait until you have the power comparable to the gods. It's not too late to get the white snake immortal. By the time, the white snake immortal has accumulated knowledge and wealth for thousands of years. It's his Orochimaru's. Do not. It's him Orochimaru and Baisan. At the next moment, the words of the white snake immortal interrupted Orochimaru's association. Orochimaru, your new art is amazing. I can feel it. Your chakra is constantly changing. This transformation is strengthening your chakra and strengthening your body and soul. Originally, you were not suitable for cultivating immortality. But now you are qualified to practice immortal arts. Presumably you should also know what fairy magic is. As long as you give me this art, I will teach you the magic of Raichi Cave. As the voice of the white snake immortal fell, Orochimaru couldn't help raising the corners of his mouth, making a faint smile. Of course he knew what fairy magic was. Senjutsu is one of the reasons why Senju Hashirama can become the god of ninjas. According to Orochimaru's research, immortal art is to absorb natural energy in a certain way, so as to create chakra, which greatly strengthens one's own art. And using the magic chakra, can also release a variety of powerful sage art. It was a move that was more powerful than S-rank ninjutsu. Without a doubt, magic is very precious knowledge. Although Orochimaru is also clear. Without the chakra reactor, As long as you have the qualifications to practice immortality. The White Snake Immortal will also teach her magic. But Orochimaru has always liked to trade, not to be handed out. I do not owe the White Snake Immortal. After that day, he wanted to kill the White Snake Immortal. Don't hold back. With a slight smile, Orochimaru directly took out a scroll, handed it to the White Snake Immortal, and replied. No problem. That's the White Snake Immortal who taught me the magic. After getting Orochimaru's reply, the White Snake Immortal also showed a smile. Then, a magic trick, chakra, turned into an invisible palm and grabbed the scroll in Orochimaru's hand. The scroll flew to the eyes of the White Snake Immortal before being opened by an invisible hand. Immediately, the White Snake Immortal saw the chakra reactor. It's astonishing wisdom that a human being can create such a powerful ninjutsu, and so ingeniously transform chakra's nature transformation master. It's really amazing. The uncontrollable praise and exclamation also made Orochimaru's eyes flash with a ray of approval. Yes, no matter how many times you watch it. The wisdom of Baizen-kun is also astounding. The White Snake Immortal is not immortal after all. At a glance, the contents of the chakra reactor were completely written down. Then closed his eyes. As an immortal, its strength has reached the super shadow level. Although I can't beat Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara. But for other ninjas, it has crushing power. But such power has reached its limit. For hundreds of years, its power has not increased in the slightest. Although it has a very long lifespan. But it is also clear. Self is not an immortal existence. If you can't break through the racial limit and successfully evolve, you will be transformed into a dragon from a snake. Its ending is also destined to be exhausted and die. Although human ingenuity makes it amazing. But the vast majority of ninjutsu created by humans. It has no value at all. Not as good as 1/10 of sage art. But the chakra reactor is different. Although this art is not sage art. But in sophistication, it far surpasses sage art. More importantly, this technique can make chakra transform. So, can it make the magic chakra transform? If you can. So can the White Snake Immortal use the chakra reactor to break the racial limit and evolve into a dragon? Not without hope. Just a little hope. It's worth a try. If it can evolve into a dragon. If it can evolve into a dragon. Everything in the world will change. When it opened its eyes again, the White Snake Immortal looked at Orochimaru and said with an uncontrollable smile. Very good. I'll teach you fairy magic now. After all, the White Snake Immortal changed from an old grandmother to a white snake in an instant. The white snake opened its mouth and exposed its teeth, biting directly on Orochimaru's neck. Immediately, the pure natural energy poured into Orochimaru's body from the serpent's teeth, and a miraculous and subtle fusion reaction occurred with the fission chakra. The first ray of magic chakra was born. This kind of celestial art, which is far superior to ordinary chakra, has attracted the attention of Orochimaru and the White Snake Immortal as soon as chakra was born. To know, this is the magic chakra that is transformed from the fusion of natural energy by fission chakra. It is very different from ordinary chakra. It is more powerful, more pure, more domineering, and more polluting. It emits intense radiation, making Orochimaru feel a burning sensation. His body is undergoing a very miraculous change. Physical energy and spiritual energy combine to form chakra. Changes in chakra can also affect the body and mind. When chakra absorbs natural energy and transforms it into celestial chakra. The magic of chakra also changes the body and mind. When practicing the magic of Mount Myoboku, the characteristics of toads will appear on the body. When practicing the magic of Ryachi Cave, the characteristics of snakes will also appear on the body. Just like Yakushi Kabuto, who mastered the power of magic in the future. Not only did 2 pairs of sharp horns grow on the head, the skin turned gray, and dense snake scales grew, and even a gray python grew on the abdomen. This level of physical upgrading is enough to prove that the impact of the immortal technique chakra on the human body is very amazing. Not to mention, Orochimaru also developed the dragon transformation technique, a very deep transformation of his body. And he also injected wood-style medicine, obtained wood-style with huge vitality. Not to mention that Orochimaru's chakra is no ordinary chakra. It is the fission chakra transformed from the chakra reactor. Because of these factors, the effect of chakra on Orochimaru's body resulted in a very miraculous effect. The cells began to crystallize, the snake scales on the body turned into crystals, the light gray turned into pure white, the white was flawless, and the white was thrilling. The eyes glowed with golden light, and the pupils were enlarged and erect, revealing a strange majesty. There is even a pair of crystalline pure white horns growing from the top of the head. This brings Orochimaru's form closer to the mythical dragon. And because the effects of radiation are permanent, this also makes Orochimaru's sage mode not a short-lived state, which will resume when the natural energy is exhausted, but an evolutionary process, the process of evolving from a mortal to an immortal. Sage mode will give the practitioners of celestial arts powerful perception abilities. Under Orochimaru's perception, he only felt that his life had undergone an unprecedented transformation. In his body, heart, lungs, bones, muscles, all organs and tissues seemed to have become special flesh and blood crystals, which look like crystals, gems, and glass. Is this the power of magic? It is an unimaginable power. I can probably understand what immortals mean. This seems to be a kind of evolution of life, an improvement in the level of life. In this state, I not only have great power, more importantly, I feel like my lifespan has improved as well. It seems that Shanshu is the key to becoming an immortal. Being an immortal not only represents strength, but also represents a long lifespan. A long life is Orochimaru's dream. Only with endless time can he learn endless ninjutsu and explore the truth of the world. And now, the key to open the door of dreams was actually already in his hands. Orochimaru couldn't help showing a big smile. The teacher did not trust him, and felt that it was impossible for mankind to attain eternal life. Tsunade and Jiraiya, two friends and teammates, also didn't trust him. Feeling that no one can gain eternal life, hope he doesn't go astray. But now, he has obtained the key to eternal life. Hehehehe, knew it. Those ignorant mortals simply cannot comprehend the ideas of genius. Short-sighted, self-righteous, living in his own little world, feeling that nothing is possible. It's so narrow and so boring. Fortunately, the world is not all mortal. There is also Baisan who is more talented than himself. He can understand me. He knew that my dream would come true. Even his dream is bigger than mine. Thinking like this, Orochimaru's smile became brighter and brighter, as if he was venting all the unhappiness in his heart. As for the white snake fairy, it stared at Orochimaru, its body trembling uncontrollably. That's right, my guess was right. This kind of fission chakra can actually allow the human body to absorb natural energy and evolve towards the direction of immortals. And this kind of magic chakra transformed from fission chakra can really make snake evolve into dragon. The current Orochimaru is a dragon that has not fully evolved. A mere human being can watch the power of the chakra reactor and immortal magic evolve into an incomplete dragon. My white snake immortal must be able to use magic and chakra reactor to evolve into a real mythical dragon. The eyes of the white snake immortal showed a fiery brilliance. It watched Orochimaru's state stabilize, and then smiled. Orochimaru, this is the power of magic, how do you feel? Listening to the question from the white snake immortal, Orochimaru, who was in a happy mood, also showed a smile and replied. Shanju is really a very powerful force. Thank you very much, immortal white snake, for being able to teach me the magic. However, compared to your power, immortal white snake, I admire your vision even more, immortal white snake. To see that the chakra reactor and celestial magic can produce such a miraculous reaction. Orochimaru's words seemed to contain deep meaning, but the white snake immortal who saw the hope of transforming the dragon didn't care. Instead, he wanted to end this transaction as soon as possible, and then return to his home to practice the chakra reactor. Right now, it only wants to be able to turn into a dragon as soon as possible. Hehe, young people nowadays really can talk. While speaking, the white snake immortal grabbed a huge scroll with immortal magic. The invisible hand grabbed the scroll and floated it in front of Orochimaru's eyes. This is all the magic of Ryachi Cave. Take it away. Speaking of this, immortal white snake suddenly narrowed his eyes and said in a pointed tone. Hope to meet next time. Orochimaru, you can also give me some extraordinary surprises. Putting away the magic scroll, Orochimaru replied with a smile. Don't worry, immortal white snake, I will definitely surprise you next time we meet. That's good. With the last voice falling, the figure of the white snake immortal also suddenly disappeared in place. Orochimaru looked at this way of disappearing from reality, and a strange color flashed in his eyes. Only when he mastered the immortal technique did he understand how powerful the so-called immortal was. That is beyond cage-level existence. And such power. Now he is also a master. And he has the confidence to become an immortal, a being beyond cage level. Maybe Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara are the powerhouses at that level. But unfortunately, they rely on their own immortal blood, thus possessing power beyond cage level. After all, they are not immortals, but mortals, and in the end they just turned into Lois. Whispering so far, Orochimaru even showed a little contempt and disdain in his eyes. After all, Orochimaru took one last look at Raichi Cave, and disappeared in place. Back to his laboratory, Orochimaru can't wait to open the fairy scroll. Sage art the far far away. By absorbing other people's cells into the body, you can use that person's spells, and even the blood relay limit can be activated. In theory, there is no art that cannot be activated. Sage art Beiji technique. The effect of this technique can make the air in a certain area around it vibrate continuously, so that the victim feels that the bones of the whole body are rubbing. It can even cause the victim's body to become numb, and the strong light and sound emitted by this technique can damage the victim's vision and hearing. Sage art inorganic reincarnation. Reincarnation ninjutsu is a ninjutsu that can give life to inanimate inorganic objects and control them. And it is not a simple ninjutsu that uses chakra to control substances, and inorganic substances move quickly under the action of this art. Hundreds of celestial arts with different functions appeared in Orochimaru's eyes, which also caused Orochimaru to show a shocking expression and fiery eyes. Is this magic? It's really powerful. The phagocytic cells thus obtain the blood's successive limit, giving life to inorganic matter to control all things, and materializing spiritual energy to obtain psychic power, flight, imperial objects, and even augmented illusions. So comprehensive, so powerful. These are definitely not the wisdom of the White Snake Immortal, but the crystallization of the wisdom of countless human geniuses. Are these magic tricks the reason why the White Snake Immortal is willing to make his snake sons and grandchildren become human summoning beasts? What a scheming monster. Really, Bison is right, he is not my race, his heart must be different. As long as there is a chance, these immortals must not stay. There was a killing intent in his eyes, but it was quickly restrained by Orochimaru. Because he suddenly thought, maybe the White Snake Fairy who got the chakra reactor. Its strength can be even higher. Even like the dragon turning myth of Raichi Cave, the snake turned into a dragon and became a godlike existence. But Orochimaru isn't actually worried. Because transforming a dragon is definitely a very long process. Wait until the White Snake Immortal evolved into a dragon. I am afraid that Bison has already completed his plan and has become a real god. What if the White Snake Immortal evolved into a dragon then? It was just an experiment for him and Bison. Think about it. A dragon lies on the experimental bench, allowing you to dissect and study. What a joy this should be. The mere White Snake Immortal will not be a major problem. I'd better send the natural energy, celestial arts chakra, and these celestial arts to Bison-kun as soon as possible. Presumably Shanshu was also an important part of Bison's plan. If you can help Bison, you can contribute your own strength to the advancement of the plan. Orochimaru felt very fulfilled. Soon, a wisp of natural energy and magic chakra is sealed with 2 special scrolls. He copied all the fairy spells aside. Orochimaru sent these 3 scrolls to Bison. At the same time, sitting cross-legged, Bison is closing his eyes, mobilizing chakra wholeheartedly, and controlling the super electromagnetic field in his body. Fission chakra transforms into magnet-style chakra. Under the control of Bison, magnet-style chakra with its own super electromagnetic field is transforming the chakra reactor little by little. Converting the chakra reactor into a nuclear power plant is not a complicated matter. It is difficult to convert electrical energy into nuclear energy. But it is very easy to convert nuclear energy into electricity. Especially if Bison is able to dominate the super electromagnetic field. In less than 20 minutes, Bison completed the transformation. The moment when the chakra nuclear power plant was completed, the magnetic field of life becomes the positive pole, the magnetic field of the soul turns into the negative pole, and the magnet-style chakra flows from the positive pole to the negative pole like an electric current. In this process, a super electromagnetic field is generated, and the rotation of the super electromagnetic field makes the life magnetic field and the soul magnetic field merge into one. In the end, a grand unified electromagnetic field that is constantly circulating is formed. Boom, long, long, rolling thunder resounded, and a huge electromagnetic force circulated in Baisan's body. The whole person seems to form a whole, life, soul, and chakra. The Trinity forms a grand unified electromagnetic field, which derives the terrifying grand unified electromagnetic force. This force is stronger than ever, although not tested. However, the ability to perceive the horror of the unified electromagnetic field allows Baisan to clearly judge. I am afraid that my current self has the power to lift a small mountain. And it's the power of magnet style and super electromagnetic armament. This force is really too powerful. And it's just a preliminary completed magnet style, super electromagnetic weapon. I still have some inspiration to further upgrade this technique. Transform and strengthen the body and spirit through super electromagnetic weapons. Reform nerves with electromagnetic force after conducting human experiments to obtain superhuman reaction speed. As well as developing many functions of the grand unified electromagnetic field, such as sensing and controlling magnetic fields. And by changing the life magnetic field and soul magnetic field of others, so as to dominate the life and soul of others. Countless inspirations burst out in Baisan's mind. Let Baisan look forward to his future even more. To know, this is just the application of the electromagnetic force to the magnetic field. In addition to being applied to magnetic fields, electromagnetic force can also be applied to nuclear energy, radiation, light and shadow, metals, temperature. Unlimited potential. Feeling the stable operation of the chakra nuclear power plant in his body, Baisan also slowly opened his eyes. A deep purple electric light flashed across Baisan's eyes. It seems that Baisan is incomparably miraculous. Seeing a gray snake in front of him open its mouth and spit out 3 scrolls, Baisan also raised the corner of his mouth. After taking over the 3 scrolls, he watched the gray snake escape into the ground. Baisan thought to himself, I don't know what surprise Orochimaru brought me this time. Is it the Raichi cave magic that I have been waiting for? Just as Baisan guessed, what Orochimaru brought to him was really the magic of Raichi cave. And it's not just the inheritance of fairy tales. There is also a natural energy, and a magic chakra. This natural energy is not ordinary natural energy, and the natural energy that the White Snake Immortal infuses into Orochimaru's body. It has the imprint of the White Snake Immortal. And this magic chakra is not an ordinary magic chakra. It is the magic chakra transformed from the fission chakra. Has a strong radiation. Radiation not only affects the human body, but also affects genes BBDC. Often this effect is negative. For example, fatigue, dizziness, insomnia, skin redness, ulcers, bleeding, hair loss, leukemia, vomiting, diarrhea, etc. Sometimes it also increases the incidence of cancer, aberrations, and hereditary lesions, affecting the health of generations. But the radiation of the magic chakra has a positive effect. According to Orochimaru's note, the magic chakra transformed from the fission chakra can release the radiation that can evolve life, and subtly make the life body evolve into a fairy. Interesting. I didn't expect fission chakra to have such properties. After being transformed into the fairy magic chakra, it can actually release special radiation that can evolve life into a fairy. This kind of radiation should be named Washian radiation. Baisan knows. Radiation is defined in physics as a portion of the electromagnetic energy emitted by an emitting source that travels far away from the field source. The phenomenon of not returning to the field source, and a physical phenomenon in which energy diffuses outward in the form of electromagnetic waves or particles. Among them, electromagnetic radiation generally refers to electromagnetic waves of all electromagnetic radiation characteristics. That is, electromagnetic waves can be defined as a type of radiation. And electromagnetic waves are oscillating particle waves that are generated and emitted in space by electric and magnetic fields with the same direction and perpendicular to each other. Simply put, Baisan has a way to use the grand unified electromagnetic field to generate Washian radiation to complete his own sage transformation. I originally thought it would be difficult to become an immortal. Now it seems that it takes all the effort. More importantly, I can simulate the radiation of the celestial beings with the grand unified electromagnetic field. As long as there is a certain amount of development, am I able to gain the ability to transform living beings into immortals? If you can, that would be interesting. Make an assumption. If all ninjas, even all life forms in the world are bathed in the radiation of immortals, so what will this planet look like? All living beings will gain great power and long lifespan. Under the guidance of Bison, they can study life, study the soul, study chakra, study magic. Continue to improve the chakra power system, thus continuously raising the upper limit of the power of this world. Maybe then, really as the super shadow is not as good as the dog, 6 paths walk all over the place. And then, as long as you complete the harvest of the results, is it easy to surpass 6 paths? Interesting, I may be able to formulate a plan for the arrival of the fairyland. His eyes gradually became deep, and Bison silently wrote down all the magic of Raichi Cave. Now that lightning-style super electromagnetic weapon has been upgraded to magnet-style super electromagnetic weapon. Although the magnet-style super electromagnetic weapon can continue to improve and develop, but this takes a lot of time. It can quickly increase the combat power in a short period of time. Nature is magic. In another 3 hours, Bison will have to go to the border between the land of wind and the land of fire to meet the arrival of war. If it's just Master Sage mode, it's definitely not difficult for Bison. In this way, Bison opened his palms, inhaled the natural energy of the White Snake Immortal into his body, prepared to synthesize chakra, and entered Sage mode. Natural energy is like a primer, or a key. No one infuses the ninja with natural energy, so the ninja cannot perceive the natural energy that is ubiquitous in nature. And as long as someone injects you with natural energy, you can perceive the natural energy that is everywhere in nature. This phenomenon is really miraculous. But natural energy is also very polluting. If your physique is substandard and you don't have enough chakra in your body, it will be eroded by natural energy and become a part of nature, such as a stone. Bison's physique is very strong, and the quality and quantity of chakra are also very high. The corrosive nature of natural energy is naturally ineffective against Bison. However, Bison did not rush to synthesize chakra, but quietly sensed the magnetic field of natural energy. This is a low-frequency and complex magnetic field. The feeling for Bison is very magical, and Bison can feel the magnetic field that belongs to the natural energy of the White Snake Immortal within oneself is somewhat different from the magnetic field of natural energy in nature. After being absorbed by the living body, the natural energy will acquire some of the characteristics of the living body. Or natural energy contains all the properties of nature, but does not manifest itself under normal circumstances. And after entering a living body, the characteristics belonging to this living body will be activated. And natural energies also have some permanent effect on life. Bison made a bold guess. Because either Jiraiya or Uzumaki Naruto, the first time they entered Sage mode was through the secondary effect of toad oil. So when they enter Sage mode, they will have the characteristics of the toad. But why did they not enter Sage mode through toad oil after that, but absorbed the natural energy of nature, and also showed the characteristics of toads? This is a topic worthy of further study. Now, Bison didn't want to have the characteristics of a snake on his body after entering Sage mode. Therefore, the grand unified electromagnetic field is imprisoning the natural energy of the White Snake Immortal. This natural energy should be used for research. The key to Sage mode is simply to absorb natural energy and fuse the magic chakra. It seems safer and more powerful to absorb the natural energy of nature. Bison simply used the natural energy of the White Snake Immortal as the key. Opened the door of natural energy and took out the key. Inhale the natural energy of nature into the body and combine with the chakra in the body to create the magic chakra. To know, the chakra in Bison is no ordinary chakra. It is the nuclear power chakra processed from the chakra nuclear power plant. The magical chakra that this chakra transforms into is naturally not an ordinary chakra. It is more overbearing than Orochimaru's celestial magic chakra. The Washian radiation that can be emitted is also more intense. In Bison's perception, your heart, lungs, muscles, bone marrow, cells, tissues, everything begins to crystallize. Cells are like pearls, crystal clear and flawless. And they are filled with powerful energy. If Orochimaru needs 10 years to become a fairy, then Bison will only need 2 years. More importantly, strengthened by the magic chakra, the Grand Unified Electromagnetic Field has also achieved an extremely huge increase. Under the augmentation of the magic chakra, the Grand Unified Electromagnetic Field has acquired the properties of the celestial chakra. That is to say, I am able to unleash celestial magic through the Grand Unified Electromagnetic Field. Or let the Grand Unified Electromagnetic Field have the function of fairy magic. Feeling the great changes in the Unified Electromagnetic Field, Bison's mind also burst out with a very ingenious inspiration. Sage Art Inorganic Reincarnation. Reincarnation ninjutsu is a ninjutsu that can give life to inanimate inorganic objects and control them. And it is not a simple ninjutsu that uses chakra to control substances, and inorganic substances move quickly under the action of this art. The magic of this Raichi cave can give life to inorganic beings and manipulate them. So, this celestial art combines the Grand Unified Electromagnetic Field augmented by the celestial art of chakra. Is it possible to give metal life, mechanical life? One after another, huge figures full of sci-fi style appeared in Bison's mind, which made Bison's mouth raise involuntarily. The potential of Shanjutsu is indeed greater than that of ninjutsu. The two are not on the same level at all. Bison has already thought very clearly about the road ahead of him. Develop magnet style, research celestial arts, and combine the two. And in the process of continuous research, in order to strengthen oneself, strengthen the magnetic field, and strengthen one's ability to control matter, energy, life, and soul. Silently familiar with the great unified electromagnetic field of the magic chakra amplification. Feel the rapid passage of time. When the sun rose from the horizon, Bison also opened his eyes. Looking at the unchanged self in the mirror, Bison understood in his heart. Your own sage mode is different from the sage mode of the three holy lands. In sage mode, you will not have any inhuman features to manifest yourself. There will be no so-called fairy masks. Just get the all-round enhancement of the magic chakra. With a thought, exit sage mode. Bison, who had returned to normal, let out a soft breath. Look at the time. Bison washed up carefully and went out to eat a bowl of eel ramen for breakfast. Not long ago. Come to the training ground number 17. Bison-kun, good morning. Kurenai Yuhi smiled brightly. Good morning, Red. With a gentle smile, Bison greeted. Kakashi and Namikaze Minato hadn't come yet, so Bison chatted with Yuhika for a while. Hearing Yuhika say that he has learned what magic tricks and what medical ninjutsu is difficult to master. He also praises Bison from time to time, and says that his talent is not as good as Bison. That tone, slightly humble, but Bison just smiled and looked at Hong Yuhi, comforting and encouraging humility from time to time. Soon, Kakashi and Namikaze Minato also arrived. After greeting each other a few words, everyone left Konoha. Traveled to the border between the land of wind and the land of fire. At the same time, in Sunagakur, Chiyo, Ebizo, Luasha, Yekora and other 14 Sunagakur's upper echelons are having a serious meeting. Chiyo, who has the highest status, looked around the crowd and made a heavy voice. Everyone, 3rd Cage and Sasori have been missing for 7 days. We Sunagakur have reached an existential crisis. Without Feng Ying's presidency, the village's supplies would have run out. To this end, we have to go to war. This is not only to divert conflicts, but also to obtain supplies. It's more about electing 4th Cage. Following Chiyo's words, Luo Sha and Yi Kang's breathing became heavier. They all want to be 4th Cage. And they are also the two most likely to become 4th Cage among all the people present. Others are not suitable, nor qualified to compete with them. I suggest that the troops be divided into 2 groups, with Luo Sha and Yi Kang each leading a team. The team that gets more supplies is 4th Cage. As for where you choose to attack, it's up to you to decide. After all, Chiyo sat down. When Chiyo sat down, Luo Sha stood up without hesitation and said, I propose an alliance with Iwagakure to attack Konoha. Years. Gain resources by plundering towns on the borders of the Fire Nation. And put Iwagakure under the pressure of Konoha during the war. Listening to Luo Sha's proposal, Ebizo frowned and said, That old guy Oyemu can't be fooled. Luo Sha, you have to think about it. Facing Ebizo's question, Luo Sha just showed the appearance of winning, and replied confidently. Don't worry, Consultant Ebizo. I am absolutely certain that I will be able to form an alliance with Iwagakure. Seeing Luo Sha's confident appearance, Ebizo closed his mouth. Since Luo Sha is confident, there is no need to say more. No matter what he said, Luo Sha wouldn't listen. Since Luo Sha has already made up his mind. The eyes of everyone turned to Yi Kang. Facing everyone's gaze, Yi Kang said calmly. Since you want to plunder supplies, then naturally you have to attack Konoha, or the country of fire. I want to lead an elite team to pass through the country of the river and attack the towns on the border of the country of fire. When Yi Kang's words fell, Luo Sha's eyes sank slightly. He decided that Yi Kang wanted to use him to attract firepower. This Yi Kang is really cunning. He cursed secretly in his heart, and Luo Sha remained calm on the surface. As for the others, after thinking about it, they all agreed with Yi Kang and Luo Sha's decision. Bingui is very fast, since you have made a decision, let's go quickly. With Chio making a final decision, the meeting was dissolved. Immediately, under the management of Chio and Ebizo, the huge military organization Sunagakure began to operate quickly. That night, Yi Kang, who had already chosen his teammates, left Sunagakure with his ninja squadron. 36 ninjas in total. At the same time, the Minato class, along with 12 other ninja squads, also brought the Fire Country frontier. Looking at the stars and the bright moon in the night sky, Baisan's heart is calculating the gains and losses of the war. Although the Third Ninja War is a war between Ninja Village and Ninja Village. But it was civilians who suffered the most. Because on the civilians, there are all kinds of materials such as food, clothes, money and so on that the ninja needs. And a ninja wants to kill another ninja. It's actually a very dangerous thing. But a ninja wants to kill a group of civilians, but it is very simple. And killing a ninja is not necessarily more profitable than killing a group of civilians. So, if you are a ninja, what will you choose? To fight with enemy ninjas? Or to kill and plunder civilians? Ninja, how many good people are there? Define ninjas in terms of good and bad. Really stupid thing. Ninja kindness, most of them are reserved for teammates and a companion. Not for the enemy, but for the civilians. The Orochimaru preliminary Master Ryachi Cave's celestial operation will begin to act. By taking advantage of the wartime, obtain a large amount of labor at a low price, and then start industrialization and produce a large amount of materials so as to control the world's economy step by step. When the war is over, we will be able to fight against the weakest of the major ninja villages. Give the commoners the power of chakra, and then lead the commoners to overthrow the old aristocracy. After the rotten feudal forces are removed, the productive forces can be vigorously developed, thereby further transforming the world. The act of ninja massacres of civilians. In Baisan's eyes, it is a waste of human resources. This kind of thing, how could it happen in front of Baisan's eyes? The moment the enemy entered the perception field of Baisan's unified electromagnetic field, Baisan's expression changed, and he shouted to Namikaze Minato, who was beside him. Senior Minato, there are enemies. 0.00. Blackjack direction, 3 kilometers away. When Baisan's voice entered Namikaze Minato's ears, Namikaze Minato's expression also changed, becoming serious and serious. Kakashi, Red, you will tell the other ninja squads this information, and Baisan-kun and I will go to find out the information. Yes, Minato-sensei. Yes, Minato-sensei. Kakashi and Hong also knew the seriousness of the matter, so after replying, they immediately went to pass on the information. This scene was watched by Baisan and didn't say anything. Although this way of transmitting information is very primitive, the efficiency is also very low. But also the safest. To know, the ability of ninjas to steal information is very powerful. If it is really a technological creation of the power of walkie-talkies in war. Maybe the enemy has mastered ninjutsu that can eavesdrop on walkie-talkies. In this way, information leaked, and the war was directly lost in half. Senior Minato, come with me. Okay, Baisan-kun. In Baisan's grand unified electromagnetic field. The enemy's magnetic field was so obvious that it also let Baisan know the strength of the enemy. There is only one normal cage level enemy, the others are Jonin and Elite Jonin. His strength has reached the peak of cage level. Dealing with this group of enemies is a piece of cake. Why be nervous? With such a hot magnetic field, I probably know who the enemy is. Yi Kang, a Scorch-style blood follower-bound ninja, is good at using Scorch-style oversteaming, powerful, and is known as the hero of Sunagaku. Although it has the combat power of Cage level, it is the weakest existence in Cage level. Facing such an enemy, Bison could easily defeat her with one hand. But Bison is very interested in Shuiji's limit. Capable of capturing a ninja with a strong bloodline limit is an experiment. Also a good harvest. Senior Minato, I can sense the number and strength of the enemy. 1 ordinary Cage level, 13 elite Jonin, and 22 ordinary Jonin. With the strength of the two of us, we can actually easily wipe out the enemy. When Bison's voice entered Namikaze Minato's ears, Namikaze Minato's solemn expression also eased a lot, but his eyes still showed seriousness. Bison-kun, I believe in you, but in the face of war, it is better to be cautious. Bison and Namikaze Minato were blocked in front of Yi Kang's team. Looking at Namikaze Minato and Bison, Yi Kang showed a cruel grin. Namikaze Minato, she knows, although his strength is good, he is just an ordinary ninja with no limits of blood. A ninja with no boundaries of blood. You will never know the power of the blood after the limit. So she has the confidence to beat Namikaze Minato. As for the other, although he looks handsome, he is too young. How strong can such a small ninja be? However, as an excellent ninja who had experienced hundreds of battles and killed countless people, Yi Kang would not despise any enemy. Even if she is disdainful, she will go all out. Not to mention, she also knows, now that the Konoha shinobi have discovered her, then it is impossible for her to face only these two enemies. Kill these two enemies as quickly as possible. To prevent being surrounded. To take the initiative. The hands were sealed, and the fiery fireball glowed with scorching brilliance. But in an instant, 13 head-sized fireballs appeared around Yi Kang, suspended in midair, surrounding her. As soon as Yi Kang made a move, it was the ninjutsu she was good at. Scorch-style oversteaming. This is a ninjutsu that can vaporize parts of the opponent's body with a single blow, which is extremely cruel. Enemies who die in Scorch-style and oversteaming will become mummified corpses. Hoo. The wind was howling, and the fireballs of the 13-headed adults were roaring towards Bison and Namikaze Minato like lightning. Even more terrifying, Yi Kang can also control 13 fireballs, changing their flight trajectories. The speed is extremely fast, it can also track, and it can kill with one hit, evaporate all the water in the enemy's body, and turn the enemy into a mummified corpse. How many people can escape such ninjutsu? Sunagaku's hero, Yekora, lives up to its name. I saw two enemies suddenly appear in front of my eyes. The 35 subordinates of Yi Kang were still a little surprised, even nervous. They don't know how the two Konoha shinobi found themselves. And the speed is so fast. But wait until they just react. His captain threw more than 10 fireballs, seeing that these two enemies were about to turn into mummified corpses. This made them involuntarily show a cruel grin. How did you find us? Isn't there only a dead end? Die painfully under the scorch style of our Sunagaku heroes. Looking at the 13 fiery fireballs coming towards him, Namikaze Minato couldn't help but narrow his eyes, and a sharp color flashed past. That's when Namikaze Minato wanted to use the Flying Thunder God technique to evade the attack and fight back. Bison on the side directly unfolded the Grand Unified Electromagnetic Field. And it is also a unified electromagnetic field under the increase of the fairy magic chakra. How powerful is it? The invisible electromagnetic force generates huge kinetic energy under the action of Bison. This kinetic energy is like a huge wave of vast soup, ruthlessly pressing on the 13 scorch-style fireballs. And wiped it out in an instant. And then move on. With the tide of the waves, they slapped Yi Kang and other 36 sand shinobi fiercely. So majestic, they were simply incapable of resisting. But in an instant, 35 ninjas except Yi Kang. He has already thrown himself into the body, as if he is being pressed by a hill, and he has no power to turn over. His body trembled and struggled, but there was nothing he could do. Can't even move a finger. As for Yi Kang, although she was still able to stand in front of her, she felt the invisible force surging towards her from all directions, making it difficult for her to move. At this moment, She looked hideous and tried her best to get her body moving. Want to seal, want to mobilize chakra, want to rely on scorch style to get rid of this state. Want to escape, want to get away from this terrifying to ultimate, monster like Konoha shinobi. How can that be? How can there be such a monster in this world? You didn't even move, you controlled me and my companions. What kind of power is this power? How can such a terrifying power still exist in this world? More terrifying is this monster. Looking at his appearance, he should be very small, right? At such a young age, he actually possesses such terrifying power. Then when he grows up, won't he become the god of the new generation of ninjas? If he doesn't want peace, will Sunagaku be destroyed? How can I allow something like this to happen? Yi Kang struggled desperately. But she was still useless. She didn't understand the gap between herself and Bison at all. The weakest shadow. To Bison, he looks like a pig and a dog. It's easy to kill it. Looking at the scene in front of him, Namikaze Minato, who was just about to start, was also stunned for a moment, and then his face showed a little embarrassment. He was just saying, Bison-kun, I believe in you, but in the face of war, it is better to be cautious. As a result, the enemy just appeared in front of his eyes, and all were controlled by Bison. This is too Namikaze Minato to say nothing. These enemies are too weak. But he also knew Yi Kang. Knowing that Yi Kang is the hero of Sunagaku, he has an amazing record. A cage-level ninja who is good at killing. Such a powerful ninja. It was actually controlled by Bison-kun in an instant. So how powerful is Bison-kun? Obviously last time Bison was not so strong. It was Bison-kun who hid his strength. Or is Bison-kun getting stronger again? Namikaze Minato looked at Bison's side face and couldn't calm down for a while. Seeing Namikaze Minato react like this, Bison could also guess what Namikaze Minato was thinking. Senior Minato, I don't hide my strength. The reason why you can become so much stronger in such a short period of time. It's because I learned about the mysteries of magnet style by researching puppets made from third cage corpses. Obtaining the magnet style bloodline limit, the strength has been greatly improved. After returning to Konoha, Orochimaru Senpai sent me a research report on celestial arts. Because Orochimaru Senpai's research is very penetrating, so I have mastered celestial arts again. The powers of celestial arts and magnet style add to each other, and that's what gives me such a huge boost. When Bison's voice entered Namikaze Minato's ears, Namikaze Minato was startled at first, and then there was a flash of surprise in his eyes. It is so. Only, Bison-kun is also too good. Not only mastered magnet style, but also learned magic. As a student of Jiraiya, Namikaze Minato not only understands the boundaries of blood, but also understands the power of celestial arts. Whether it's the bloodline limit or the immortal technique, the strength of the ninja can be improved by leaps and bounds. And Bison-kun has obtained both the blood continuum and Shanju in such a short period of time, which is really incredible. But Bison-kun is still connected to Senior Orochimaru. And Senior Orochimaru actually sent Bison-kun a research report on fairy magic. Although Namikaze Minato does not yet have a master Shanshu, he has also tried to practice Shanshu. He knows that cultivating immortality requires the help of immortals. And it takes a long time to master. After entering Sage mode, some features will appear on the body. But why not Bison-kun? What was the result of Orochimaru Senpai's research? How could Bison-kun master Shanshu in such a short period of time, and the power is different from traditional Shanshu? There is a lot of curiosity in my heart, but it is not suitable to ask now, so Namikaze Minato can only nod and reply. So it is. Bison-kun's talent is truly terrifying and indescribable. To be able to master blood and immortality in such a short period of time. It's amazing. Listening to Namikaze Minato's words, Bison finally replied. Mainly, the research of Orochimaru's predecessors is amazing. We will discuss this later. Let us now deal with these enemies who dare to provoke war. Following Bison's last words, Namikaze Minato's face suddenly turned positive. Although he is sunny, gentle and kind. But these are not for the enemy. These are all reserved for friends. For those who dare to provoke war, face those ninjas who do not do anything evil. Namikaze Minato has always been decisive. Good. We'll send these enemies back to Konoha to see if we can interrogate any useful information. After all, the two started to act. In fact, the enemy was sent to the torture department. It is not only information that can be interrogated, but also the ninjutsu they are good at. Ninjutsu on the sealed book of each ninja village. Many of them are not developed and created by themselves. It was obtained through plunder and torture. When sealing the chakra in Yi Kang, Baizan also drew some chakra and blood. Looking into Yi Kang's eyes, Baizan thought to himself, let the Konoha interrogation department interrogate Yi Kang's intelligence and ninjutsu for yourself. It's hard to catch a blood ninja alive. Konoha will never let Yi Kang die easily. Shueiji boundary is the most precious treasure in the ninja world. None of them, since caught alive, Konoha will not let Yi Kang die easily. Presumably Konoha will pass on Yi Kang's scorch style. That's in the near future. Konoha will give birth to a powerful scorch style. Only, acquire ninjas with scorch style's bloodline limit by procreation. Such a method is really rude. Since Orochimaru has been able to research the wood style potion, then we must be able to develop the scorch style potion. Scorch style is much weaker than wood style, and it does not have the particularity of wood style. Orochimaru, who must be able to develop the wood style potion. It must be easy to develop the scorch style potion. His eyes flickered slightly, and a surefire plan appeared in Baizan's heart. Soon, Baizan and Namikaze Minato controlled the enemy. And 12 other Konoha shinobi squads also appeared in front of Baizan and Namikaze Minato. Headed by, it is the Ino Shikacho of this generation. Nara Shikahisa, Yamanaka Kaiichi, and Akamaiki Dingza. Looking at the 36 sand shinobi who were captured, especially the leader of Yi Kang. Yi Kang's reputation is not small. They also know each other. So they know how powerful this group of enemies is. It is precisely because of this. The group of Konoha shinobi were stunned. How can that be? How long has it been? Minato-kun controlled all the enemies. Even Minato-kun became a cage-level ninja and mastered the Flying Thunder God technique. But it can't be that fast, can it? Or does Minato-kun have other powerful trump cards in addition to developing a move Rasengan? How strong is Minato-kun now? They looked at Namikaze Minato in shock. It is believed that Namikaze Minato caught the Sand Shinobi. As for Baizan, although they all know that Baizan is a genius. But isn't Konoha's genius enough? Namikaze Minato was once also known as a genius. Now Baizan is only 9 years old, so what if he is a genius? How could it possibly be stronger than Minato-kun? After a slight pause, Nara Shikahisa said with a little respect. The strength of Minato-kun really surprised me. To catch the enemy so quickly, and among them is Sunagaku's hero, the Scorch-style Shikura. It seems that Minato-kun has made great progress recently. Hearing Nara Shikahisa's compliment, Namikaze Minato also showed an embarrassed expression. Seeing Namikaze Minato showing this expression, Nara Shikahisa's eyes changed slightly. Although the Nara family is not a blood successor family, it is also a secret art family. The family tradition of shadow magic also has the ability to affect the bloodline. Therefore, every ninja of Nara's family has a very high IQ. And the best ninja of each generation of the Nara family will become the deer in Ino Shikacho. He will also become a senior executive of Konoha, and he is a general existence similar to the secretary of Hokage. As a representative of high IQ, Nara Shikahisa quickly noticed the abnormality. Then a bold guess came into my mind. No way, aren't these enemies Minato-kun solved? And this Baizan solved it. But Baizan is only 9 years old this year. Although it is unbelievable, he has found many clues, all of which are proving a fact. That is, this group of enemies are all solved by Baizan. And it's solved in an instant. He has such terrifying fighting power at the age of 9. This Baizan is really a genius of genius, a monster of monsters. The god of ninjas is not so powerful at this age. Could it be that, will Baizan surpass the god of ninja in the future? What is the existence beyond the god of ninjas? Is it a god? Nara Shikahisa has the unimaginable. And then it was when Nara Shikahisa speculated the truth. Yamanaka Kaiichi, Akamaiki Dingza, and other Konoha shinobi people also complimented Namikaze Minato. After all, Namikaze Minato is sunny, gentle, generous, reliable, trustworthy, and very popular. Many people think that Namikaze Minato can become 4th Hokage. So how can they be stingy with their own compliments and compliments? Listening to everyone's compliments, Namikaze Minato not only embarrassed, but also showed an expression of not knowing whether to laugh or cry. After reacting, he immediately explained. The enemy was not solved by me, but by Bison-kun. As soon as these words came out, the praise stopped abruptly. Everyone looked at Bison with incredible eyes. They never imagined this group of enemies was actually solved by Bison. Yi Kang is a cage-level ninja. The other enemies are also Jonin and elite Jonin of Sunagaku. How old is he? Bison? 9 or 10, how can it be so powerful? But even if they were in disbelief. But the truth was right before their eyes. They all know Namikaze Minato and know that Namikaze Minato is a trusted partner who doesn't lie. So, this group of enemies was really solved by Bison. What a terrifying genius this is. It's only 9 years old. It has such a powerful force. I am afraid that at the same age, the god of ninja is not as good as Bison. Does that mean, will Bison surpass the god of ninjas in the future? Shocked, delighted, excited. What an incredible genius. A monster-like ninja has been born among the juniors. Nice job, Bison-kun. ... Quote. The sound of emotion, the sound of praise, the sound of compliment. Looking at the various expressions of everyone, Bison also smiled modestly, and then replied mildly. Thank you for your praise, seniors, and I will continue to work hard. But it's better to send these enemies back to Konoha as soon as possible. After all, Sunagaku is more than these ninjas. As Bison's voice fell, he looked at Bison's modest, polite and gentle appearance. Everyone's evaluation of Bison also increased a bit. At the same time, his face was straight, and Nara Shikuhisa replied. It's time to get busy. After all, he gave the order. Each squad escorts 3 enemies. Return to camp at full speed for custody. Yes, 2 hours later, watch as a squad of Konoha shinobi escort the captives back to Konoha. Bison turned his hand and passed the information to Orochimaru. The other side, intelligence from Bison-kun. Scorch style makes Yekora. Well, a good experiment. Orochimaru is also very interested in the boundary of blood and wants to study it. In particular, he already has the experience of breaking the wood style of the blood and the limit. It is a piece of cake for Orochimaru to break the mystery of Scorch style and develop Scorch style potion. I discovered it while researching wood style. The birth of the blood following the boundary, the fusion of different attributes of chakra, seems to contain a special law. Because there are too few experimental samples and insufficient research data, I can't find and verify this property fusion rule, or the birth rule of blood. So, I can't miss this experiment. Through the communication with Bison, Orochimaru also learned the control variable method. In order to find the birth rule of the blood god, he naturally needs a large number of blood god limit ninjas as experimental samples. It's just that Bison-kun actually wanted the people from Konoha's torture department to help him torture intelligence. Although it's not impossible, I think my torture skills are also very good. It's better to rob these prisoners directly. With a cold gleam in his eyes, Orochimaru never felt that all Konoha shinobi were companions. Just a group of strangers, what kind of feelings can they have? Helping each other just because everyone is Konoha shinobi. What are you kidding? In the eyes of Konoha's executives, most ninjas are just tools. Use it if it is useful. If you need to sacrifice, let you sacrifice. They can do it, then why can't I? Although he had already made a decision in his heart, Orochimaru chose to inform Bison. Looking at the information from Orochimaru, Bison also had no opinion. Orochimaru thinks it's convenient, so let's do it. It's just that Bison doesn't like unquestionable killings. Because life is a very precious labor force and special resource. It is precisely because of this. Bison hates those crazy ninjas who take pleasure in killing. After instructing Orochimaru to try not to kill people if he could, Bison didn't care about it anymore. Turning his attention to the magic scroll, Bison has not yet studied the magic of Raichi Cave. Moreover, Bison also wants to integrate Shanshu with magnet style, and develop several moves that suit him. After getting Baisan's reply, Orochimaru also raised the corner of his mouth. Finally, I glanced at the fairy scroll on the table. Orochimaru escaped into the land. Because Baisan wants him not to kill innocent people indiscriminately. And Orochimaru also agrees that life is a precious labor and a precious resource that should not be wasted. So Orochimaru just used a special paralyzing toxin. It was easy to bring these sand shinobi captives to his laboratory. Them will become Orochimaru's experiment. And when this Konoha shinobi squad woke up, watching the mysterious disappearance of sand shinobi captive, the leader of the ninja team couldn't help showing an ugly expression. Such an important group of 400 prisoners was robbed in my hands. Although angry, he was also a little scared in his heart. The enemy can make them unconscious without even noticing. This also proves that as long as the enemy is willing, they can be easily killed. He can survive. It seems to have been lucky. Hurry up and report the information to Hokage-sama. Although he is very ordinary. But also know the importance of this matter. Wake up your subordinates, and then return to Konoha as quickly as possible. When Sarutobi Hiruzen got the information, his face became gloomy. That's Yi Kang, the hero of Sunagakur with the Scorch-style bloodline limit. Such a precious captive was robbed. Who did it? There are not many people in the ninja world who can do this. Anesthesia, poison, Tsunade, Orochimaru, Chiyo, or some other faction. If this Konoha team died, the identity of the murderer might not be so hard to guess. Most likely it will be Chiyo. But this ninja team is not dead. This is very confusing. But no matter who the killer is, Sarutobi Hiruzen has reason to suspect that there are spies in the 12 ninja squads. Perhaps these people should be investigated. A few suspicious ninjas appeared in his mind, and Sarutobi Hiruzen's expression slowly returned to calm. I already know about this. You go to the hospital to check your body first. Maybe there are clues. Yes, Hokage-sama. After the back disappeared, Sarutobi Hiruzen immediately dispatched Anbu to investigate. After arranging everything, Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at the information written by Namikaze Minato in his hand, and his eyes also showed a bit of strangeness. Magnet style, and sorcery. Baisan is still connected to Orochimaru. And Orochimaru has actually researched some results in celestial arts. This is really unexpected. Looks like I should meet my student Orochimaru. Yi Kang actually lost contact. As the Konoha shinobi that's strong. As Yi Kang's competitor, Luo Sha is also aware of Yi Kang's strength. The overall strength is almost the same as his. But in terms of attack power, it is a bit stronger than him. But such a powerful Yi Kang actually lost contact on the first night. And there are no clues left. It was as if it just disappeared out of thin air. This Luo Sha couldn't help but be afraid, if the strength of Konoha shinobi was really so terrible. Will he still attack Konoha? Konoha is the first ninja village after all. Who knows how many trump cards Konoha has? And it's not a question of whether it can be beaten. It is clear, Konoha is already on guard against Sunagakur. It seems impossible to plunder some supplies by surprise. At least not in the short term. Only when the war breaks out and the other 3 shinobi villages attack Konoha together, can I seize the opportunity and plunder. But I have a question. How did Konoha know that Sunagakur was going to start a war and was prepared for it? Could it be that the disappearance of 3rd Cage was really caused by Konoha? But Konoha has no reason to do it. They should be the ninja village that does not want to start a war among the 5 villages. They have no shortage of resources, and they can continue to grow as long as they develop slowly. Wait, wrong. 3rd Hokage is getting old. Maybe the ninja with Konoha wanted to become 4th Hokage, so he decided to assassinate 3rd Cage and start a war. Because only the battlefield can give him enough prestige to become 4th Hokage. Seeing that he had guessed the truth of the matter, Luo Sha couldn't help but scolded him. His magnet style was taught by 3rd Cage. So he has a lot of respect for 3rd Cage. Although he would also love to be 4th Cage. But he didn't want 3rd Cage to die like this. This made Luo Sha hate Konoha in his heart. It's just that Luo Sha is a very rational and ruthless excellent ninja. He knew that the current Sunagakur was definitely no match for Konoha. It's better to change the target. For example, form an alliance with Iwagakure and attack Cloud Shinobi Village together. Since the disappearance of Third Cage, he has been collecting information on the ninja world and analyzing it. Cloud Shinobi Village has been developing the military in previous years. But there are not so many metal minerals in the country of Thunder. As for buying, it's okay to have a small quantity, you can buy it, and you can afford it. But as soon as there were more, Cloud Shinobi Village decided to grab it. As for where to grab it, naturally, it is to go to the land to snatch. It is precisely because of this. The contradiction between Cloud Shinobi Village and Iwagakure is naturally not small. If able to ally himself with Iwagakure, then use the disappearance of Third Cage to lure Cloud Shinobi Village into looting. Is it possible to lead Cloud Shinobi Village into a trap, and then annihilate the enemy with Iwagakure to obtain supplies? Chances are high. Well worth a try, now that a decision has been made. Na Luasha did not dare to waste time. Third Cage missing such a big thing. You can hide it for a while, but you can't hide it for a lifetime. If this information is leaked, then there is no way to implement his plan. Then, Luo Sha hurriedly sent his men to Iwagakure. And on the other side, Bison has reached out to Hitaki Tsukumo. Over the past 2 years, Hitaki Tsukumo listened to Bison's advice, developed a large organization, and established a large research institute for Bison. Watch Hitaki Tsukumo and Kakashi stage a heartwarming scene of father and son reunion. Listen to Hitaki Tsukumo tell Kakashi about his experiences over the years. Bison also raised the corner of his mouth and showed a gentle smile. Since Hitaki Tsukumo has been loyal to himself, Bison will not treat him badly. The electromagnetic series of ninjutsu, as well as the chakra reactor, Bison sent a copy to Hitaki Tsukumo. It is precisely because of this. Over the past 2 years, Hitaki Tsukumo's strength has changed a lot. His White Fang technique has entered a whole new realm. Listen to Hitaki Tsukumo say. He has been able to slash out the kilometer chakra sword with one knife, and split a small mountain. Such an attack, it is comparable to Uchiha Madara's divine power. Certainly, only the attack power has reached the super shadow level, and the comprehensive strength is still the peak of cage level. It is precisely because of the need to practice that Hitaki Tsukumo has not gone to many places in the past 2 years. He only went to Star Ninja Village and Snow Country. No doubt, since Hitaki Tsukumo went to Hoshinin Village and Snow Country, then Shingnin Village and Snow Country naturally became Hitaki Tsukumo's forces. And Hitaki Tsukumo also brought Bison a surprise. Because the country of snow is mostly snowy weather all year round. Therefore, the local agricultural industry and per capita GDP are less affected by the weather. In order to survive, Snow Country is a country that pays little attention to the development of heavy industry. Have a certain scientific research foundation and scientific research results. For example, able to augment chakra's chakra armor, mass phantom projector, unfinished environment modifier, railroad, and more. It is precisely because of this. Bison's large-scale research institute was established in the land of snow. And because there are a group of scientific researchers in Snowland. When Hitaki Tsukumo handed over the Star of Hoshinin Village to these researchers, they actually made a very powerful star chakra armor. This star chakra armor not only removes the harmfulness of star radiation, but also maximizes the star's ability to materialize chakra to the ultimate. As long as you wear this star chakra armor, your chakra can not only be greatly increased, but also have the ability to materialize. And this materialization can make your chakra as hard as steel, and it can change freely. The function is like the peacock magic of Shingnin Village. But stronger. About 3 hours have passed. Hitaki Tsukumo and Kakashi are finally over. Facing Bison with a slightly apologetic smile, Hitaki Tsukumo said. Sorry Bison-kun, I kept you waiting for a long time. It's okay, father and son reunite, naturally there are a lot of people want to talk, I can understand. Bison's tone was still so gentle. After saying this, it's time to talk about business. Immediately, Bison's tone was positive and continued. Since the old story has been finished, it's time to get down to business. Sunagakure's advanced troops were wiped out by me. I guess they no longer dare to attack Konoha. At least not for a short time. We need a full-scale war to bring out Shimura Danzo, complete revenge, find evidence, and clear grievances. So we need to get Iwagakure, Cloud Shinobi Village, and Kurigakure into the war. To this end, I need Mr. Sakumo to inform Cloud Shinobi Village of 3rd Casecage's disappearance. Cloud Shinobi Village has developed its military for so long, and its strength has reached saturation. They desperately need a chance to start a war. Then we'll give him a chance. Cloud Shinobi Village is the closest to Iwagakure, and there is a lot of friction. As long as Cloud Shinobi Village joins the war, Iwagakure will never sit by and watch Cloud Shinobi Village annex Sunagakure, and its strength will grow by leaps and bounds. Quote, Cloud Shinobi Village, Iwagakure, Sunagakure, Konoha Village have all joined the war, so naturally Kurigakure will fish in troubled waters. Because Konoha has the most abundant resources, no matter how hard the other 4 ninja villages fight, Konoha will not be spared. At that time, that's our chance. Listening to Baizan's simple and clear analysis, Hatake Sakumo also knew what to do. I know Baizan-kun, so please leave this matter to me. Well, I naturally trust Mr. Sakumo unconditionally. In the end, after bribing the hearts of the people, Hatake Sakumo left. Looking at the back of his father leaving, Kakashi's eyes were full of reluctance. Gently patted Kakashi on the shoulder, Baizan comforted. Soon, we will be able to kill Shimura Danzo, find evidence, clear your father's injustice, and reunite your father and son. Well, I know, Baizan-kun. In reply, Kakashi adjusted his state. Then go to practice. Only when you have experienced powerlessness and forced helplessness will you understand the importance of strength. Kakashi, who knows the importance of strength, has always worked hard. And he also wanted to repay Baizan. Think about the gap between yourself and Baizan. Kakashi practiced even harder. Go back to your room. Baizan started researching the star chakra armor. The so-called star is indeed a radioactive meteorite. And the radiation from the stars is interesting, it can affect the chakra, change the properties of the chakra. Under the influence of the stars, chakra can materialize. Not only is it extremely hard, but it can also be ever-changing. The peacock trick is to use this property to make chakra condense into a kind of beast on the body surface for fighting. Not only can it attack, defend, and even fly. Only. Radiation from stars is also harmful and can damage the human body. Putting his finger on the star, Baizan quietly perceives this special radiation, and feels the subtle changes of chakra under this radiation. This gave Baizan a lot of inspiration. The extraordinary energy of chakra seems to be easily affected by radiation. And under the influence of radiation, chakra is not only able to obtain a qualitative improvement, but also to obtain many powerful properties of the tongue. Maybe I should study the effects of radiation and chakra based on the electromagnetic force. Radiation of immortals, radiation of stars. If I can eliminate the harm of star radiation to the human body. Just release Washion radiation and star radiation. It's enough to greatly improve the strength of all life in this world. Becoming an immortal, possessing great power and longevity, and being able to control chakra to materialize. Looks like I'm going to study radiation well. The star chakra armor is undoubtedly a very powerful and very precious treasure. It can even give an elite Jonin a cage-level combat power. But such an increase is not a big improvement for Baizan. And Baizan is best at master electromagnetic force. It is not difficult to generate radiation with electromagnetic force simulation. Therefore, Baizan can use the electromagnetic force to simulate the radiation of stars by studying the chakra armor of the stars, so that his chakra can obtain the materialized properties. And when Baizan obtained the ability to materialize chakra, what use is this star armor for Baizan? It's better to give it to Orochimaru, let him study and see if it can produce any new results. Waiting for Orochimaru research to penetrate. Give it to Kakashi, let him have cage-level combat power with the star chakra armor. Perfect. After making a decision in his heart, Baizan restrained his thoughts and concentrated on studying the radiation of stars. And in the process of deduction, there was also a great inspiration in Baizan's mind. The great unified electromagnetic field, sage art inorganic reincarnation, and the peacock magic method. Endow chakra with life, so that chakra with materialized properties can transform into various forms. Swords, spears, swords and halberds, insects, fish, birds and beasts. Dominate them with the grand unified electromagnetic field. Think about it. At the thought of it, chakra turned into thousands of swords and halberds. You can control them like a sword fairy and Eugian, and even control the deformation of these swords, spears, swords and halberds. That way, how great is the power that can be generated? Thinking about it, with a single thought, chakra turns into an endless stream of insects, fish, birds and beasts. And their shape is dominated by me, so they can be dragons, phoenixes, tigers. 10,000 dragons roar, thousands of phoenixes spread their wings, and 100 tigers gallop. What kind of majestic and vast momentum is this? And since 400 and chakra can be split, they can also be merged. Think about it. What if all the chakras came together into a single blade, a dragon, or a giant? Isn't this Susanoo? And, maybe even stronger than Susanoo. Now that he has inspiration in his heart, Bison decided to turn this inspiration into reality and create an almighty creation, sage art. But when the sun went down, a knock on the door stopped Bison from playing. Opening the door, Bison saw Namikaze Minato, who seemed a little embarrassed. In his hand, he also carried a food box. "I'm sorry Bison-kun, for bothering me." With a mild smile, Bison replied, "Senior Minato, don't be so polite, come in and sit." Putting the food box on the table, Namikaze Minato said, "I see Bison-kun, you shouldn't have dinner today. I just brought you some sushi. I was really hungry," and Bison probably guessed the purpose of Namikaze Minato's visit. So Bison was not polite, he opened the food box and ate it straight away. "It tastes really good." Seeing that Bison did not politely push back, the embarrassed expression on Namikaze Minato's face also eased a lot. Watching Bison drank a cup of tea after eating sushi, and felt that Bison was full, Namikaze Minato immediately asked, "Bison-kun, last time you said we could talk about Shanshu, is it convenient now?" Looking at Namikaze Minato, Bison showed a gentle smile. "Of course it's convenient." Bison plans to treat all geniuses as fruits, giving them knowledge beyond the times. Let them to research, to develop, to play their talents, so as to create more results. Harvest at the end. And Namikaze Minato, undoubtedly a very talented genius. Although not very good at naming ninjutsu. For example, the Spiral Flash Super Round Dance and Roar 3 style. But that doesn't affect Namikaze Minato's ability to play Master Sage mode or even Kurama mode in the future. And developed Rasengan, and created Flying Thunder God 2 and Flying Thunder God Guide Mine. And Namikaze Minato died very early. Failed to fully utilize his talents. If given enough time to Namikaze Minato, who knows what kind of time-space ninjutsu Namikaze Minato can develop. Perhaps in the study of space-time ninjutsu, only Senju Tobarama can compare with Namikaze Minato. As for Senju Hashirama and Namikaze Minato, who has stronger time and space ninjutsu skills. Not so good to say. But anyway, Namikaze Minato is such a great talent, it's a waste not to take advantage of it. After all, that is time-space ninjutsu, and that is the application of chakra in the space domain. It goes without saying how precious space technology is. Bison also knew that the electromagnetic force and space are extremely closely related. Electromagnetic force is a force exhibited by the electromagnetic field formed by the flow of electrons. Why do electrons flow? Because the electrons gain energy, become active, and constantly collide with each other to transfer energy. If there is no energy, the electron will touch the nucleus. Why it touches the nucleus? It is the result of weak interaction or universal gravitation. The weak interaction or the gravitational force is the result of space squeezing. When the electrons get energy, they will be far away from the nucleus, and they will open up the space and be subjected to the force of the space. The electromagnetic field is also an energy field. The electrons in the energy field gain energy, and the same result will open up the space and be subjected to the force of the space. The reason why the electromagnetic force is strong is because the electrons gain energy to open up a large enough space. In this case, space can generate electromagnetic force, and electromagnetic force must be able to affect space. It's just that Bison is now mainly studying electromagnetic force and radiation. Let's wait until Bison researches the field of radiation to study the relationship between electromagnetic force and space. But in between, Bison can use the Namikaze Minato research space first. Then harvest the fruits of Namikaze Minato. In this way, it is easier to grasp the relationship between chakra, electromagnetic force, and space, and use electromagnetic force to dominate space from BBDC. Thinking that Vice Admiral had everything calculated, Bison immediately took out 2 scrolls that had already been prepared and handed them to Namikaze Minato. One is the chakra reactor, the other is the magic. Brother Minato, you can look at these 2 scrolls first. Listening to Bison's words, looking at the 2 scrolls in front of him that were clearly prepared, Namikaze Minato nodded and opened it directly. The first is a scroll about the chakra reactor. Namikaze Minato's eyes widened as he looked at the records on the scroll about the principle, structure, design, and efficacy of the chakra reactor. There is still such a sealing technique in this world. By transforming the chakra circulation system, the quality and quantity of chakra can be greatly improved. And this high-quality fission chakra can greatly strengthen the body and spirit. It's even possible to modify the body in small ways to keep the body in optimal condition and stop aging until the end of life. Even under the influence of the chakra reactor, the lifespan of the ninja will be increased, and it will be almost 150 to 180 years old. This technique is too unbelievable. Is this the reason why Bison can be so powerful at this age? Looking at Bison, Namikaze Minato couldn't hide the shock and surprise in his eyes. He now knows why Bison can have such a strong fighting force at this age. But he couldn't understand how Bison was able to create such a powerful seal technique at such a young age, which could even change the world. Looking at Namikaze Minato's reaction, Bison could probably guess what Namikaze Minato was thinking. Immediately, Bison showed a humble expression and explained. The chakra reactor gathers the wisdom of me, Tsunade-sensei, and Orochimaru-senpai. It's not my fault alone. After getting Bison's explanation, Namikaze Minato's eyes also showed a little surprise. This seems understandable, but the wisdom of Bison-kun, Orochimaru-senpai, and Tsunade-senpai. It was still difficult for Namikaze Minato to calm down for a while. It's amazing, it's amazing. After reciting it twice in his heart, Namikaze Minato finally came to his senses. Such a precious seal. Bison-kun handed it over to him so easily. This is too generous. Involuntarily, Namikaze Minato was moved. After quickly reading and writing down the contents on the chakra reactor scroll, Namikaze Minato couldn't calm down his excitement for a while. With the chakra reactor, his strength can go further. And this step is a leap forward. He will get more and higher quality chakra, stronger physique, stronger spirit. Can release Flying Thunder God technique and Rasengan without scruples. Unlimited practice will allow him to find ways to improve his Flying Thunder God technique and Rasengan and become stronger. And these, just because of the first scroll Bison-kun showed him. Before his eyes, there is another scroll. Can't wait to open the fairy scroll. After seeing the contents on the scroll of Shanju Chakra, Namikaze Minato's heart set off an even greater storm. The function of Washian radiation directly shattered Namikaze Minato's cognition. How can that be? How can a human being be a fairy? It's too incredible. That's a fairy. As a student of Jiraiya, Namikaze Minato naturally has seen the Great Toad Sage and knows what kind of existence immortals are. Long lifespan, powerful strength, and even some special abilities beyond human imagination. For example, the Great Toad Sage's ability to predict the future. And now, he actually saw a way for humans to become immortals. Is this the research result of Orochimaru Sr.'s? This is too incredible. Although he heard from teacher Jiraiya, Orochimaru's dream is to gain immortality and learn all the ninjutsu in the world. But Namikaze Minato also felt that Orochimaru Senpai could not realize his dream. Now it seems that he is short-sighted and sits in to watch the sky. Humanity, there is real hope of eternal life. Namikaze Minato is unimaginable. In this world, there are magic arts that can turn humans into immortals. According to the scroll, this magic does not seem to be difficult master. This also means, there can be many immortals born in this world. What an incredible future this is. Tens of thousands of ninjas became immortals with long lifespans and great powers. This is magic that can easily change the world. But it is such a precious magic. Right now in front of his eyes. Even shortly after. You can also master this celestial art, or even become an immortal. How can mortals resist immortals? As long as there are 10 immortals in Konoha. Enough to quell any war. And immortals have long lifespans. This will give the world a long life. Even Orochimaru Senpai was able to devise a magic technique to turn humans into sages. Then can he research the magic that allows the immortals to have eternal life? Perhaps this cruel and cold world may usher in everlasting peace. Namikaze Minato looked at Baisan with a complicated expression after writing down all the contents on the celestial scroll. At this moment he finally understood the gap between him and Baisan. Simply a world of difference. More importantly, Baisan actually handed over such precious sealing and immortal arts to him. Such a great grace. How should he repay? Pledge allegiance to the death. Senior Minato, don't look at me like that. We are all Konoha shinobi followers, we are all companions, we are friends, we are brothers and sisters. Senior Minato has become stronger, and in the upcoming Third Ninja World War, he must be able to save more companions and reduce Konoha's loss. And I've always believed in it. The exchange of knowledge will not reduce knowledge, but will maximize the value of knowledge and make us all stronger. Perhaps the master of the chakra reactor and Minato of the immortal transformation technique can create more and stronger immortal techniques. Presumably, if I want to learn at that time, Minato-san will never fail to teach me, right? Along with Baisan's words, Namikaze Minato couldn't help raising the corners of his mouth, and drew a smile like a little sun. As expected of Baisan-kun, I will definitely practice hard, become stronger, and protect our companions and the Konoha village behind us. And also, if I create a stronger magic in the future, I will teach you when the time comes. With a mild smile, Baisan replied. That's fine, then, Minato-san, hurry up and practice. Well, goodbye Baisan-kun. After Namikaze Minato left, Baisan continued to study the chakra armor of the stars, and at the same time deduced the magic of creation in his heart. By the time the night fell, Baisan had already deduced a frame. At the same time, he also gave a name to this creation magic, called Sage Art Wanwa Creation. This is the first celestial technique I researched in the field of radiation. Finally checked the framework. After confirming that there is no problem, Baisan washes and sleeps. At the same time, Luo Sha also met Oyegi. Although Onogi's appearance is very happy, there is a big nose in the middle of the face, and the stature is very short. But Luo Sha didn't dare to underestimate Oyemu at all. His skills were not as good as others and he demanded from others, so his attitude was naturally quite respectful. Looking at Oyemu respectfully, Luo Sha recalled the information of Oyemu in his mind. Onogi is a direct disciple of first Tsuchikage and second Tsuchikage, and his strength is quite strong, and he enjoys the title of Onogi of 2 days. Not only Grandmaster Earth-style ninjutsu, but also the ability to use the blood above the limit of blood to eliminate, dust escape. At the same time, he is one of the few ninjas who can fly in the 5 kingdoms. And Onogi is not only powerful, but also good at training. The powerful rock shinobi ninjas are Lois, Black Soil, Terracotta, Leech, Firelight, Dashi, Sumashi, East Dead Man, Wanya, Ichiban, Hunter, Old Purple, and Han. They are the proud disciples of Onogi. Although he is not a ninja from the same village, this does not prevent Luo Sha from admiring Onogi. It is precisely because of this. Seeing the respectful Luo Sha showing admiration in his eyes, Oyegi couldn't help but feel proud. To know, in order to win the trust of others, Luo Sha has already told Oyemu all his plans. This also let Onogi know. The sand shinobi ninja standing in front of him is no small person. But the future 4th Kazekage. Think about it. In the future, 4th Kazekage actually showed such respect and admiration to him, the 3rd Tsuchikage. How can this make Onogi unhappy? However, the current occasion is not suitable for getting carried away, so the pride in my heart is only in my heart. On the surface, 3rd Tsuchikage still looked calm and composed. Luo Sha, I have seriously considered your suggestion. I think we can form an alliance. It's just that there are some conditions that we need to discuss. Hearing 3rd Tsuchikage's words, Luo Sha had a calm demeanor, and he respectfully replied. Lord Tsuchikage, please tell me, do you think those conditions need to be revised? Although very satisfied with Luo Sha's attitude, the distribution of interests has to be fought. After nodding lightly, Onogi said. Although I think Iwagakure should give Sunagakure some material support. But I think you're asking for too much, and we at Iwagakure don't have anything to spare. If you promise to reduce the supplies by 1/2, I immediately agree to form an alliance. Luo Sha never imagined that this Onogi would be so ruthless. Cut in half in one fell swoop. To know, when writing the alliance agreement, Luo Sha felt that the materials he asked for were reasonable prices. After all, Sunagakure ninjas are not weak in combat. Don't need loot to help rock shinobi fight. Is it too much to ask for supplies below market higher prices? This is absolutely not too much. It is such an unreasonable request. This big wildwood actually dared to cut it in half. What a lion's mouth. However, Luo Sha also knows that his strength is not as good as Onogi. Sunagakure is also weaker than Iwagakure. This time, I asked for rock shinobi. Although rock shinobi can also benefit from alliances. But rock shinobi master takes the initiative after all. So, I endure. The so-called ninja, a person who is good at patience. Tolerate what others cannot, to build a great business. Lord Tsuchikage, Sunagakure is really difficult. If there is a shortage of supplies, people in the village will really starve to death. But I also know Iwagakure's difficulties. So be it. Can it be reduced by 1/5? Gritting his teeth, Luo Sha still gave in. This price made Onogi a little satisfied and proud. Seeing how Luo Sha gritted his teeth, he also knew that he couldn't force it too hard. After pondering for 2 seconds, he nodded and said, "Pleasant to work with." Hearing Oyegi's reply, Luo Sha couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. His purpose has finally been achieved. It seems that Sunagakure can survive this third ninja war. Just make it through. You will be able to become 4th Kazekage yourself, thereby vigorously developing Sunagakure. With such an opportunity, you can have a bright future yourself. Happy cooperation. The other side, at the foot of a mountain outside Cloud Shinobi Village. 3rd Raikage takes Ai and Killer Bee to meet Konoha's White Fang, Hitaki Sakumo. You are Shirahoshi, the leader of the Stargate. Staring at Hitaki Sakumo, 3rd Raikage felt a little danger. This made 3rd Raikage not only fearful, but also a little incredible. For their own strength, 3rd Raikage is quite confident. Not only can he use the Hell Thrust and Ichigo hands called the Strongest Spear, and the lightning-style armor of the Strongest Shield. It also possesses a powerful strength that rivals the Tailed Beast. He played against 8 Tails in a runaway state, and both sides were exhausted and fell at the same time. Having such power, 3rd Raikage felt that even if he faced 10,000 ninjas, he would not be afraid. But, he actually felt a dangerous aura from Shirahoshi, an unknown person. This is simply incredible. Water of Ninja World. Is it so deep? Yes, 3rd Raikage. The strength is superior to others, and Hitaki Sakumo is naturally calm. Watching Hitaki Sakumo has no respect for 3rd Raikage at all. Ai and Killer Bee were both angry and wanted to scold. You, an unknown junior, have no respect for 3rd Raikage, what do you want? It's just that they haven't spoken yet. 3rd Raikage, who knows Ai and Killer Bee, stopped them with his eyes. This also made Ai and Killer Bee's expressions change. Lord Raikage actually stopped us from berating this nameless junior. Could it be that this one called Shirahoshi is very powerful? As 3rd Raikage knew about Ai and Killer Bee. Ai and Killer Bee also know 3rd Raikage. If Shirahoshi is not strong, he will never stop them. Against the strong, they were still in awe. Time is running out, let's get down to business. Hitaki Sakumo didn't care about this farce, and said straight to the subject. 3rd Raikage is also a resolute person who doesn't like to be sloppy. Nodding his head, he replied, "If your information is true, I will give you 70 million taels. Being able to hire a ninja as powerful as you, 80 million taels is indeed a very good deal. As for the exchange of ninjutsu." Speaking of this, 3rd Raikage paused slightly, and his tone became sharp, but he was also somewhat puzzled. "Actually, I don't understand why you have such thoughts. Can you explain it to me?" Hearing 3rd Raikage's question, Hitaki Sakumo paused slightly, a sigh of emotion flashed in his eyes, and then replied calmly. "The reason why I can have this strength. Because someone once told me. The exchange of knowledge will not reduce knowledge, but will maximize the value of knowledge and make us all stronger." He didn't skimp on his knowledge, and neither did I. So I have this fairly powerful strength. Hearing Hatake Tsukumo's words, Third Raikage thought. There is some truth to this. But precious ninjutsu is a ninja's most powerful weapon. How can it be easily exchanged? Not to mention, Third Raikage doesn't think Master Shirahoshi's ninjutsu is stronger than his own. To know, he is Raikage, Master Cloud Shinobi Village, one of the 5 largest villages in the world, has all the details, the strongest ninjutsu. Lightning style chakra mode, the strongest spear, Hell thrust one hand, the strongest shield, lightning style armor, Black Thunder. These ninjutsu, definitely better than this guy called Shirahoshi, the master of ninjutsu. So why do you want to exchange yourself? How can I make a losing trade? Although what you said does make sense. But ninjutsu is Cloud Shinobi Village's most precious heritage. I can't take it out in exchange. Looking at Third Raikage's appearance, Hatake Tsukumo could also guess what he was thinking. But I feel that my master's ninjutsu is stronger and more precious than my own. It is really a short-sighted mouse sitting in the sky. Hee. Hatake Tsukumo let out a contemptuous chuckle, which also made Third Raikage frown. He didn't know what Hatake Tsukumo was laughing at. This chuckle, 400, means again. However, at the next moment, he knows, because he heard Hatake Tsukumo speak in a calm water-like voice. I only cut a knife. After all, Hatake Tsukumo pulled out the ninja sword that he reforged. When he left Konoha, White Fang became Kakashi's weapon. Like the White Fang, this ninja sword is a precious weapon forged from chakra metal. But it is longer than White Fang. Hatake Tsukumo named it Tai 1, White Fang Knife Technique. He was also upgraded to Tai Sword Technique. In the next moment, the chakra reactor was roaring into Hatake Tsukumo's body. Under the control of Hatake Tsukumo, the majestic fission chakra silently covered the Taichi ninja sword in the blink of an eye. At this time, Hatake Tsukumo hasn't pulled Taichi out yet. But in the next instant, Hatake Tsukumo used his ultimate Taichi technique. Tai draws the sword. Invisible chakra radiation turns into invisible blade air. Although not visible to the naked eye. But this terrifying breath made Third Raikage, as well as I and Killer Bee behind him, instinctively fear. Even the cold hairs stand up involuntarily. This kind of fear makes them indescribable and shocking. Who is this Shirahoshi? How can it be so powerful? What exactly is this feeling? There is such a sword technique in the ninja world. Could it be a kind of bloodline boundary? After a moment, the invisible sword chi crossed the barren hills. The barren mountain was divided into 2 in a soundless silence. The cut surface is so smooth, as if there is no trace of flaws. Hatake Tsukumo looked light and calm, as if he had just cut off a vegetable. Such a gesture, such a power, such a scene. Third Raikage didn't say a word, but his eyes were full of fear. As for I and Killer Bee, cold sweat was already on their foreheads. They couldn't believe that this unknown person called Shirahoshi was so powerful. This knife, enough to kill them in seconds. And it's still a suspenseful kill. Can't escape, can't resist, can only die obediently. Are you willing to exchange ninjutsu now? Hatake Tsukumo's demeanor was calm, yet so light. Looking at Hatake Tsukumo's calm face, Third Raikage knew that he had no reason to refuse. Because he is not Hatake Tsukumo's opponent. If Hatake Tsukumo wants to grab, he couldn't resist either. But he also understood Hatake Tsukumo's attitude. Therefore, after a slight pause, Third Raikage said with a somewhat suppressed voice. Can I watch Shirahoshi-kun's ninjutsu first? Not all of them, just a beginning. Believing that his strength is stronger, Hatake Tsukumo directly took out the ninjutsu scroll he had prepared. The record above is the chakra reactor, just because of Baizan's instructions. The chakra reactor used to exchange with non-Konoha shinobi was named chakra fission technique. Took the real. Third Raikage opens directly. Seeing the full version of chakra fission technique made his eyes go straight. Is there such a powerful ninjutsu in the ninja world? And this ninjutsu seems to be very compatible with their Cloud Shinobi Village lightning style chakra mode, which can play a complementary effect. Stronger chakra, stronger physique, stronger spirit, fine-tuned and remodel the body to keep the body in peak condition at all times. This technique, how can it be so suitable for you? With this technique, just complete the practice of this technique. Third Raikage is confident that he can crush 8 tails with his own fist. Even. Defeat Shirahoshi. Looking at the calm Shirahoshi, Third Raikage didn't know what to say for a while. He didn't expect Shirahoshi to be so generous. Since Shirahoshi is so generous, he doesn't like to be around the corner either. Shirahoshi-kun, you are so daring. In this case, in 2 hours, I'll give you the money and ninjutsu. No problem. Hatake Tsukumo's face still did not waver. After the deal was confirmed, Third Raikage returned with I and Killer B. On the way, I asked with some doubts, Dad, are you really going to give that Shirahoshi the ninjutsu of Cloud Shinobi Village? Killer B didn't speak, but there was some curiosity in his eyes. Now that his son has asked the question, Third Raikage is naturally willing to answer questions for his son. Of course, after all, we are inferior to others now. But don't worry, son, the ninjutsu that Shirahoshi-kun gave me is very precious. As long as I can master it, my strength can be at least doubled. I have the confidence to defeat this Shirahoshi easily by then. Even if he took our Cloud Shinobi Village ninjutsu, I can get it back too. When he said these words, Third Raikage's tone was full of confidence and haki. It also attracted I and Killer B to show admiration. Nothing more was said. Back at Cloud Shinobi, get your money and ninjutsu ready. Complete the deal and led an advance force to Sunagaku. Coincidentally, Third Raikage met Luo Sha. At this moment, Luo Sha was carrying the supplies from Iwagakure. How come Third Raikage is here? Could it be that Third Raikage already has information about Third Cage's disappearance? It shouldn't be. Could it be that Heikora leaked the information? Then Konoha sold the information to Cloud Shinobi. Just when Luo Sha was terrified, Third Raikage laughed out loud as he looked at the carts of supplies. Ha 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 ha, this is really a surprise. There is something wrong with you Sunagaku, it seems that Third Cage is really missing. Otherwise, Luasha wouldn't have asked Iwagakure for supplies. With so many supplies, it seems that you Sunagaku should be allied with Iwagakure. Are you trying to deal with me Cloud Shinobi Village? This is really exciting news. Third Raikage laughed wildly. There are too few enemies in front of you. There is only one Luasha who has stepped into the cage level, and it is still a weak cage level. As for the others, 40 Jonin of Iwagakure, and 40 Jonin of Sunagaku. Not enough to see. Totally not enough. But just as Third Raikage was laughing wildly, Iwagakure's team, Jonin, quietly took out the flare gun. Then, Third Raikage saw a beam of fire rising into the sky. Hehehehe, so what if the signal is sent? When that little dwarf Anamu comes with reinforcements, I'll have killed all of you rubbish. Finally, he spit out a murderous sentence. Third Raikage's hands were sealed, and the lightning-style chakra mode was opened directly. Boom! The thunder sounded suddenly. By concentrating the lightning-style chakra on the whole body, so that the whole body is covered with chakra and lightning, the body can be activated and the lightning body can be used. And the defense ability will also be greatly improved, and the lightning that bursts in the body can increase the conduction speed of the nerves. Defense and speed increase as lightning-style chakra increases. The raging lightning-style chakra produces a burst of lightning that makes a thunderous thunderclap. Crackling, crackle, dressed in a thick dark blue thunderbolt, Third Raikage seemed to turn into a flash of lightning in an instant. Rush into the crowd. Hell Assault 4 books consistent. Concentrate a large amount of lightning on 4 fingers, and then stab the enemy at high speed, with strong penetrating power. With the reduction of the number of fingers, Third Raikage will use the third hand, the second hand, and the first hand in succession to increase the power of this technique. When Third Raikage uses only one finger, its power will be maximized, and a handed book is called the strongest spear. Stab it. Flesh and bones were easily penetrated by Third Raikage. A life goes to death. And with Third Raikage leading the charge, the 300 men of Third Raikage also rushed towards the crowd. Hateful. Why did such an accident happen? It's abominable. Luo Sha's expression was extremely ugly. But now he has no choice. He knew he wasn't as fast as Third Raikage. Want to survive. We can only hope that Third Tsuchikage Onogi will arrive in time. Magnet style. Gold dust. This method can convert the highly condensed chakra into magnetic force, and pour the magnet-style chakra into the ground through the seal method, thereby creating a large piece of placer gold like seawater. With Luo Sha's palm pressing on the ground rocks on the ground turned into grains of gold dust. The gold dust gathered into a giant wave, and under Luo Sha's control, it slapped the third Raikage and a group of cloud shinobi fiercely. However, just after the giant wave of gold dust was formed, third Raikage had already killed it. Hell Assault 2 books. Boom. With rolling thunder resounding, the giant wave of gold dust was directly smashed. Amidst the thunder and lightning, gold dust flew all over the sky. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.